విజయలక్ష్మి గురువు గారు నమస్కారం. సాయిరామ్. మీకు శ్రీరామనవమి శుభాకాంక్షలు. స్టార్ట్ చేస్తారండి.
శ్రీరామనవమి శుభాకాంక్షలు.
వీడియో పెట్టండి.
నువ్వు ఉండండి 5 నిమిషాలు.
ఈరోజు మీ గొంతు సహకరిస్తుందా?
ఏంటి అసలు వినిపించడమే లేదు. లోగా వినిపిస్తున్నది.
ఇప్పుడు బాగా వినిపిస్తుందా?
ఇప్పుడు నా మాట వినిపిస్తున్నదా మీకు?
మీరు చాలా బాగా వినిపిస్తుంది. మైక్ లో లౌడ్ స్పీకర్ లో వినిపించినట్టు వినిపిస్తుంది.
ఒక్క నిమిషం. ఇంకా కాలేదు 4:30.
ఓకే రండి, మీరు 5 నిమిషాల తర్వాత రండి. ఓకే 5 నిమిషాల తర్వాత రండి. మీరు ఇప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ చేయాలన్నా కూడా చేయొచ్చు అంటున్నా. మైక్ ఆన్ చేయండి. ఇది జయలక్ష్మి గారు మైక్ ఆన్ చేసి ఇది తిప్పండి, కెమెరా తిప్పండి. అడ్డంగా ఉన్నారబ్బా, తిప్పండి.
ఇప్పుడు ఇందువల్ల
కెమెరా 90 డిగ్రీస్ తిప్పండి. 90 డిగ్రీస్. ఇప్పుడు ఓకే. పోయింది మళ్ళీ. ఇప్పుడు ఓకే. ఇప్పుడు పర్ఫెక్ట్. పాడండి.
నమస్కారం గురువు గారు.
నమస్కారం చెప్పండి గురుగారు.
నాది 4:30 స్లాట్ సార్.
లేదమ్మా, ఈరోజు మీరు తప్పు రిజిస్టర్ చేసుకో.
ఏంటి సార్?
మీరు కనిపించలేదా లిస్ట్ లో?
నేను రిజిస్టర్ చేశానండి, మార్చి 25 చేశాను.
లేదు, పర్లేదు. ఈరోజు లేదంటే నేను మళ్ళీ 12వ తారీఖు 13వ తారీఖు ఎవరైతే మిస్ అయ్యారో వాళ్ళందరినీ పాటిస్తాను. సాటర్డే, నెక్స్ట్ సాటర్డే సండే. ఓకేనా? అప్పుడు మీకు
ఓకే సార్.
ఓకే.
సరే సార్.
రిజిస్టర్ చేసుకుని ఉంటే గ్యారంటీ ఉంటుంది. ఏదో మిస్టేక్ అయిపోయిందేమో.
నేను రిజిస్టర్ చేసుకున్నాను సార్, మార్చి 25.
ఆహా, మరి ఎందుకు ఎలాగైంది?
నాది సక్సెస్ఫుల్, మీరు రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ కూడా
రావణమ్మా.
సక్సెస్ఫుల్ అని వచ్చింది సార్.
ఈ ఫ్యాన్ తీసేయి.
యాక్చువల్లీ ఏమైందో
లైట్
ఫస్ట్
వేసేయి.
అలా ఫస్ట్ వచ్చి పెట్టిన ఫామ్ లో
తొందరగా రా.
మిస్టేక్ ఉంది.
అదే
అందుకని
మీరు పెట్టిన వెంటనే నేను పెట్టేశాను సార్. ఓకే
అదేనమ్మా,
సార్, నేను ప్రిపేర్
12వ
అయ్యి
తారీఖు
కూర్చోండి.
పాటిద్దాం మీకు. ఓకేనా?
సరే, ఓకే సార్. ఓకే సార్.
ఆ లైట్లు కూడా వెయ్యి. లైట్ వెయ్యి. ఇంకా లైట్ కూడా వెయ్యి. తొందర టైం అయిపోతున్నది. అంతే. తదరే తదర తదరిన తదర తదరిన తదరీన తదరీన తదరీ వినిపిస్తోందండి?
బాగా.
జయ జయ స్వామి జయ 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 జిత వైరి వర్గ ప్రచండ జయ జయ జిత వైరి వర్గ ప్రచండ జయ జయ గజముఖ జయ వక్రతుండ జయ జయ జిత వైరి వర్గ ప్రచండ జయ జయ గజముఖ జయ వక్రతుండ జయ జయ స్వామి జయ 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 స్వామి జయ జయ మూషక వాహన ముని జన వంద్య మూషక వాహన ముని జన వంద్య దోషరహిత దళిత సురభోంద శేషభూషణ శైవ వారిధి
చంద్ర శేషభూషణ శైవవారిధి చంద్ర పోషక పరిజన పుణ్యక కంద జయ జయ స్వామిన్ జయ జయ ఆ జయ జయ స్వామిన్ జయ జయ లంబోదర ధీర లావణ్య సారా లంబోదర ధీర లావణ్య సారా కంబుదుదానిధి కర్పూర గౌరా లంబోదర ధీర లావణ్య సారా కంబుదుదానిధి కర్పూర గౌరా సాంబ సదా శివ సాంబ సదా శివ సత్కృతి చతురా సాంబ సదా శివ సత్కృతి చతురా సాంబ సదా శివ సత్కృతి చతురా సామవేద గీత సకలాధారా జయ జయ స్వామిన్ జయ జయ ఆ జయ జయ స్వామిన్ జయ జయ శేఖరాదిసురగణ సన్నుత చరణ శేఖరాదిసురగణ సన్నుత చరణ శాత కుంభమణి దివ్యాభరణ శేఖరాదిసురగణ సన్నుత చరణ శాత కుంభమణి దివ్యాభరణ వికృతి ఘన విఘ్న తిమిరావరణ వికృతి ఘన విఘ్న తిమిరావరణ ధీర నారాయణ తీర్థ సుకరో నా ధీర నారాయణ తీర్థ సుకరో నా జయ జయ స్వామిన్ జయ జయ ఆ జయ జయ స్వామిన్ జయ 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 జిత వైరి వర్గ ప్రచండ జయ జయ జిత వైరి వర్గ ప్రచండ జయ జయ గజ ముఖ జయ వక్రతుండ జయ జయ స్వామిన్ జయ జయ ఆ జయ జయ స్వామిన్ జయ జయ ఆ ఇప్పుడు పాడింది నాటరాగం శ్రీ నారాయణ తీర్థుల వారి తరంగం ఆది తాళం. ఇప్పుడు నెక్స్ట్ ఆఠాణ రాగం త్యాగరాజ స్వామి వారి కృతి ఆది తాళం. తదరి తదనా ఆగా రామనామము జన్మరక్షక మంత్రం రామనామము జన్మరక్షక మంత్రం తామసము చేయక తామసము చేయక భజింపవే మనస రామనామము జన్మరక్షక మంత్రం తామసము చేయక భజింపవే మనస రామనామము ఓ సోమ సూర్య నేత్రుడైన సోమ సూర్య నేత్రుడైన సోమ సూర్య నేత్రుడైన రామచంద్రునికి సరియవరే సోమ సూర్య నేత్రుడైన రామచంద్రునికి సరియవరే రామనామము జన్మరక్షక మంత్రం తామసము చేయక భజింపవే మనస రామనామము కామకోటి రూప రామచంద్ర కామకోటి రూప రామచంద్ర కామిత ఫలద కామకోటి రూప రామచంద్ర కామిత ఫలద రామచంద్ర జ్ఞాన స్వరూప రామచంద్ర జ్ఞాన స్వరూప రామచంద్ర త్యాగరాజార్చిత రామచంద్ర త్యాగరాజార్చిత రామచంద్ర రామనామము జన్మరక్షక మంత్రం తామసము చేయక భజింపవే మనస రామనామము ఓ ఓ ఓ నెక్స్ట్ రేవతి రాగం అన్నమాచారి కీర్తన కంపోజ్ చేసిన వారు శ్రీ బాలకృష్ణ ప్రసాద్ గారు ఆది తాళం రామా దశరథ రామా రామా దశరథ రామా నిజ సత్య కామా నమో నమో కాకుత్స రామా రామా దశరథ రామా నిజ సత్య కామా నమో నమో కాకుత్స రామా రామా దశరథ రామా కరుణానిధి రామ కౌసల్యానందన రామ కరుణానిధి రామ కౌసల్యానందన రామ పరమ పురుష సీత పతి రామ కరుణానిధి రామ కౌసల్యానందన రామ పరమ పురుష సీత పతి రామ శరది బంధన రామ శరది బంధన రామ శ్రవణ రక్షక రామ గురుతర రవి వంశ కోదండ రామ శరది బంధన రామ శ్రవణ రక్షక రామ గురుతర రవి వంశ కోదండ రామ రామ దశరథ రామ నిజ సత్య కామా నమో నమో కాకుత్స రామ రామ దశరథ రామ సులలిత యశ రామ సుగ్రీవ వరద రామ సులలిత యశ రామ సుగ్రీవ వరద రామ కలుష రావణ భయం కర రామ సులలిత యశ రామ సుగ్రీవ వరద రామ కలుష రావణ భయం కర రామ విలసిత రఘురామ విలసిత రఘురామ వేద గోచర రామ విలసిత రఘురామ వేద గోచర రామ కలిత ప్రతాప శ్రీ వెంకటగిరి రామ రామ దశరథ రామ నిజ సత్య కామా నమో నమో కాకుత్స రామ రామ దశరథ రామ నెక్స్ట్ ఉమాభరణం. ఇది 28వ మేళకర్త హరికంబోజి జన్యం. దీని స్వరస్థానాలు షడ్జమం, చతుశ్రుతి రిషభం, అంతర్గాంధారం, శుద్ధ మధ్యమం, పంచమం, చతుశ్రుతి దైవతం, కైసికి నిషాదం. గమ పద నిజ మర్మములను తెలిసిన వారే. ఆది తాళం. త్యాగరాజ స్వామి కీర్తన. నిజ మర్మములను తెలిసిన వారిని, నిజ మర్మములను తెలిసిన వారిని నీవలయుంచే వేమహో రామా. నిజ మర్మములను తెలిసిన వారిని నీవలయుంచే వేమహో రామా. నిజ మర్మములను తెలిసిన వారిని నీవలయుంచే వేమహో రామా. అజగజ రక్షక అజగజ రక్షక గజ చర్మాంబర. అజగజ రక్షక గజ చర్మాంబర. అజగజ రక్షక గజ చర్మాంబర. ఆదిదైవ మేధకులను నీలగల్గ చేసిన అజగజ రక్షక గజ చర్మాంబరాదిదైవ మేధకులను నీలగల్గ చేసిన నిజ మర్మములను తెలిసిన వారిని నీవలయుంచే వేమహో రామా. శృతి శాస్త్ర పురాణ శృతి శాస్త్ర పురాణ వేదాది షణ్మత మేష్టులా. శృతి శాస్త్ర పురాణ వేదాది షణ్మత మేష్టుల నామవరాదుల. శృతి శాస్త్ర పురాణ వేదాది షణ్మత మేష్టుల నామవరాదుల. క్షితిపతుల కోమతులుగా చేసిన క్షితిపతులం కోమతులుగా చేసిన క్షేమ త్యాగరాజనూత శ్రీ మనోగర. క్షితిపతులం కోమతులుగా చేసిన క్షేమ త్యాగరాజనూత శ్రీ మనోగర. నిజ మర్మములను తెలిసిన వారిని నీవలయుంచే వేమహో రామా. నిజ మర్మములను తెలిసిన వారిని నీవలయుంచే వేమహో రామా. ఇప్పుడు అధ్యాత్మ రామాయణం కీర్తన భావయామి రఘురామం. ఒక్క నిమిషం. భావయామి భావయామి రఘురామో భవ్య సుగుణరామో భావయామి రఘురామో భవ్య సుగుణరామో భావయామి రఘురామో భవ్య సుగుణరామో భావయామి రఘురామో భావుకవిత రణపర భావుకవిత రణపర భావుకవిత రణపర పాంగలీల లసితో భావుకవిత రణపర పాంగలీల లసితో భావుకవిత రణపర పాంగలీల లసితో సరిగ సరి మా పద పద రి స నిద నిద పమ గరి సద సరి మ గరి మ పద పమ పద స నిద నిద పమ పద గరి సద రి సద సద గరి నిద మ గరి సద భావయామి రఘురామో దినకరాయ భయతిలకం దివ్యగాది సుత సవనా దినకరాయ భయతిలకం దివ్యగాది సుత సవనా దినకరాయ భయతిలకం దివ్యగాది సుత సవనా వనరసిత సుబాహుముఖ వధమహల్య పావనం వనరసిత సుబాహుముఖ వధమహల్య పావనం అనగమేశ చాపవంగం జనకసుత ప్రాణేశో అనగమేశ చాపవంగం జనకసుత ప్రాణేశో ఘనకుపిత భృగురామ గర్వహరమిహ సాకేతం ఘనకుపిత భృగురామ గర్వహరమిహ సాకేతం మాగస నిద నిస రి గమ నిద మగరి గమ పగరి స మాగస నిద నిస రి గమ నిద మగరి గమ పగరి స నిద నిస రి గమ నిద ని పద నిస నిద నిస రి గమ గస ని గరి సదా రి సదా సదా గరి నిద మగరి సద భావయామి రఘురామో భావయామి రఘురామో విగత అభిషేక మత విపినగత మార్యవాచ విగత అభిషేక మత విపినగత మార్యవాచ సహిత సీత సౌమిత్రే శాంతతమ శీలం సహిత సీత సౌమిత్రే శాంతతమ శీలం గుహ నిలయ గతో చిత్ర కూటగత భరత దత్త గుహ నిలయ గతో చిత్ర కూటగత భరత దత్త మహితరత్న మయ పాదుకం మదన సుందరంగం మహితరత్నమయ పాదుకం మదన సుందరంగం నిసగమప గమప నిసరి సరి నిసపదప గరిస నిసగమప గమప నిసరి సరి నిసప దప గరిస నిసగమప గమప నిస పానిస గరిస నిద పానిస గరిస ద నిసద సదా గరి నిద మగరి సదభ త్వయామి రఘురామో ఓ విదత దండకారణ్యక గత విరాధనో విదత దండకారణ్యక గత విరాధ దళనో సుచరిత ఘట జగతాను పమిద వైష్ణవాస్త్రం సుచరిత ఘట జగతాను పమిద వైష్ణవాస్త్రం పతగవర జటాయునుతో పంచవటి విహితవాసం పతగవర జటాయునుతో పంచవటి విహితవాసం అతి ఘోర శూర్పణఖ వచనగత ఖరాదిహరం అతి ఘోర శూర్పణఖ వచనగత ఖరాదిహరం గా పగరి గరి సద సరిగ పద సదా ప గరి సరి గప గరి సరి గరి రి సద సరి గరి గప గపద పద స గరి సదా రి సదా సదా గరి నిద మగరి సద భ వయామి రఘురామో కనక మృగ రూపధర కలమారీచ హారమిహ కనక మృగ రూపధర కలమారీచ హారమిహ సుజన విమత దాస్యం పృత జనక జాన్వేషణం సుజన విమత దాస్యం పృత జనక జాన్వేషణం అనఘా పౌప తీర సౌగ తాంజనేయ నమో మణ్యూ ఓ అనగా పౌప తీర సౌగ తాంజనేయ నమో మణ్యూ తనుజ సఖ్య కరో వలి తనుజ సఖ్య కరో వలి తను దళన మీసం तनुज सख्य करोवलि तनुदलन मेषं पामगरे सानिध सरि मा गरे सरि मा पम निध सनिध पप मगरे सनिध सरि म प निध म पद स गरे सदा रि सदा सदा गरे निध मगरे सदा भयामि रघुरामो वानरोत्तम सहितं वानरोत्तम सहितं वायुसूनु करार्पित वानरोत्तम सहितं वायुसूनु करार्पित भानुसेत भास्वर भव्यर नांगुलियो भानुसेत भास्वर भव्यर नांगुलियो तेन पुनरनीतो यो न चूड मणिदर्शनो श्रीनिध्यो उददिधीरा श्रीतविभीषणमिळेतो श्रीनिध्यो उददिधीरा श्रीतविभीषणमिळेतो गामगरे सद सरि गम प दप सा नि द प म ग रे ग म प म प ग म रे ग सरि ग म प द प स नि ग रि सदा रे सदा सदा ग रि नि द म ग रि सदा भ वयामि रघुरामो ओ कलितवर से तो बंदौ कलनि सिंह पिसीतासन कलितवर से तो बंदौ कलनि सिंह पिसीतासन दलना मोर दस कंठ विदारो अति धीरों दलना मोर दस कंठ विदारों अति धीरों ज्वलन भूत जनक सुता सहित यात साकेतो ज्वलन भूत जनक सुता सहित यात साकेतो विलसिता पट्टाभिषेक ओ ओ विलसिता पट्टाभिषेक विश्वपालो पद्मनाभो विलसिता पट्टाभिषेक विश्वपालो पद्मनाभो प्रेम प्रेम पनि पम पनि सा रे सनि पम मरिस रेम रेम पनि पम पनि सा रे सनि पम मरिस रे पम रे सनि रे पम रे सनि सरि म प द प स नि द प म ग रे स नि द सरि म ग रे सरि ग द प ग रि सरि ग प द स रे स द प द प ग रे स नि स म ग म नि द नि प द नि स ग रि स द रि स द सदा ग रि नि द म ग रि स द भ वयामि रघुरामो ಭವ್ಯಸುಗೋ ರಾಮೋ ಭಾವಯಾಮಿ ರಘುರಾಮೋ ಆ ಆ ఇప్పుడు పాడింది రాగమాలిక. నెక్స్ట్ పురందర్దాస్, శ్రీ పురందర్దాస్ కీర్తన, నాటకరంజి ఆదితాళం. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡರು ರಾಮ, ನಾಟಕರಂಜಿ ರಾಗಂ, ఆదితాళం, శ్రీ పురందరదాస్ గారి రచన. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಲು ರಾಮ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಲು ರಾಮ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಲು ರಾಮ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಲು ರಾಮ, ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದರಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಲು ರಾಮ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಲು ರಾಮ, ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದರಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮ. రావణుల మూల బల కండు కపితేనే, రావణల మూల బల కండు కపితేనే, ಆವಾಗಲೇ ಬೆದರಿ ಓಡಿದವು. ರಾವಣಲ ಮೂಲ ಬಲ ಕಂಡು ಕಪಿತೇನೆ, ಆವಾಗಲೇ ಬೆದರಿ ಓಡಿದವು. ಈ ವೇಳೆ ನರನಾಗಿ ತಿರಬಾರಕೆಂಬೆನಸಿ, ಈ ವೇಳೆ ನರನಾಗಿ ತಿರಬಾರಕೆಂಬೆನಸಿ, ದೇವರಾಮಚಂದ್ರ ಜಗ ಮೆಲ್ಲತನಾಗ. ಈ ವೇಳೆ ನರನಾಗಿ ತಿರಬಾರಕೆಂಬೆನಸಿ, ದೇವರಾಮಚಂದ್ರ ಜಗಮೆಲ್ಲತನಾಗ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಲು ರಾಮ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಲು ರಾಮ, ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದರಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮ. ಅವನಿಗೆ ಇವರಾಮ, ಇವನಿಗೆ ಅವರಾಮ, ಅವನಿಯೋಳಿ ಪರಿರೂಪಗುಂಚೆ. ಅವನಿಗೆ ಇವರಾಮ, ಇವನಿಗೆ ಅವರಾಮ, ಅವನಿಯೋಳಿ ಪರಿರೂಪಗುಂಚೆ. ಲವ ಮಾತ್ರಮೇ ಆಸುರ ದುರುಳರೆಲ್ಲರು, ಲವ ಮಾತ್ರಮೇ ಆಸುರ ದುರುಳರೆಲ್ಲರು, ಅವರವರ್ ಹೊಳೆದಾರಿ ಆಚರಾಗಿ ಪೋಗರು. ಲವ ಮಾತ್ರಮೇ ಆಸುರ ದುರುಳರೆಲ್ಲರು, ಅವರವರ್ ಹೊಳೆದಾರಿ ಆಚರಾಗಿ ಪೋಗರು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಲು ರಾಮ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಲು ರಾಮ, ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದರಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರೀ ರಾಮ. ಹನುಮದಾದಿ ಸಾಧು ಜನದು ಅಪ್ಪಿಕೊಂಡು, ಹನುಮದಾದಿ ಸಾಧು ಜನದು ಅಪ್ಪಿಕೊಂಡು, ಕುಣಿ ಕುಣಿದಾಡಿದರು ಹರುಷದಿಂದ. ಹನುಮದಾದಿ ಸಾಧು ಜನರು ಅಪ್ಪಿಕೊಂಡು, ಕುಣಿ ಕುಣಿದಾಡಿದರು ಹರುಷದಿಂದ. ಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲರಾಯನು, ಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲರಾಯನು, ಕೊನೆ ಕೊಡಿಯ ಧೂರ್ತ ನೊಬ್ಬನಾಗಿದಿಂದ. ಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲರಾಯನು, ಕೊನೆ ಕೊಡೆಯ ಧೂರ್ತ ನೊಬ್ಬನಾಗಿದಿಂದ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಲು ರಾಮ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಲು ರಾಮ, ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದರಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರೀ ರಾಮ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಲು ರಾಮ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಲು ರಾಮ, ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದರಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರೀ ರಾಮ. ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದರಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರೀ ರಾಮ, ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದರಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮ. ఒక్క నిమిషం. మర్చిపోయా. భువిని దాసుడని పేరాసెచ్చే బొంకులాడే తీన బుధ మనోహర భువిని దాసుడని పేరాసె చే బొంగులాడి తిన 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 బుధ మనోహర అవివేకమా నవుల చేరి కోరి అవివేక మానవుల చేరి కోరి అడ్డత్రోవతో కీర్తిన బ్రోవవే అవివేక మానవుల చేరి కోరి అడ్డత్రోవత్రోకి ఏన బ్రోవవే భువిని దాసుడని అవివేక మానవుల చేరి కోరి అడ్డత్రోవత్రోకి తేన బ్రోవవే భువిని దాసుడని పేరాసె చే బొంగులాడి తిన బుధ మనోహర భువిని దాసుడని ఏ చాలా సౌఖ్యమో కష్టమో నేను చాలా సౌఖ్యమో కష్టమో నేను సరివారలలో పాల ముంచిన నీట ముంచిన పాల ముంచిన నీట ముంచిన పాల ముంచిన నీట ముంచిన పదములే గతీర రామా పదములే గతీర రామా నీ పదములే గతీర జగరాజ నోదా పదములే గతీర జగరాజ నోదా భువిని దాసు నని పేరాసె చే బొంగులాడి తిన బుధ మనోహర భువిని దాసుడని సరిగమ పమ భువిని దాసుడని సరిగమ దని సాని మగరి సరిగమ భువిని దాసుడని దని సాని మదని మగ మద మగ రిగమ గరి సరిగమ దమగరి సరిగమ దమగ మద భువిని దాసుడని దద్ద దద్ద దని దద మగ మదని దద మగ మని దద మ గమ దద మగ మగరి రి సని దని సరి గమ గరి సరి గమ ద మగ మగ గరి గరి రి సని దని సరి గరి రి సరి గరి సరి గమ ద మగరి గమ దద గమ దని స ని ద మదని ని ద మదని స దని సరి గమ గరి గరి సని ద మదని సని రి గరి రి సని దని సని ద మని ద మద మగ మగరి సరి గమ దని స గమ దని స మదని స దని స ని స సాని ద మగరి స ని ద మగరి స ద మగరి స మగరిస సరిగ మద భువిని దాసుడని పేరాసచే బొంకోలాడి తిన బుధ మనోహర భువిని దాసుడని పేరాసచే బొంకోలాడి తిన బుధ మనోహర భువిని దాసుడని ఏ ఏ నెక్స్ట్ అన్నమాచార్య కీర్తన. అంతయు నీవే హరిపుండరీకాక్ష, హిందోళ రాగం. అంతయు నీవే హరిపుండరీకాక్ష, అంతయు నీవే హరిపుండరీకాక్ష, ఎంత నాకు నీవే శ్రీ రఘురామా, అంతయు నీవే హరిపుండరీకాక్ష, ఎంత నాకు నీవే శ్రీ రఘురామా, శ్రీ రఘురామా, శ్రీ రఘురామా. కులము నీవే గోవిందుడా, కులమును నీవే గోవిందుడా, నా కలిమియు నీవే కరుణానిధి, కులమును నీవే గోవిందుడా, నా కలిమియు నీవే కరుణానిధి, తలపును నీవే ధరణిధరా, నా తలపును నీవే ధరణిధరా, నా నెలవును నీవే నీరజరామా, అంతయు నీవే హరిపుండరీకాక్ష, ఎంత నాకు నీవే శ్రీ రఘురామా, శ్రీ రఘురామా, శ్రీ రఘురామా. తనువును నీవే దామోదరా, తనువును నీవే దామోదరా, నా మణికియు నీవే మధుసూదనా, తనువును నీవే దామోదరా, నా మణికియు నీవే మధుసూదనా, వినికియు నీవే విఠలుడా, వినికియు నీవే విఠలుడా, నా వెనక ముందు నీవే విష్ణుదేవుడా, వినికియు నీవే విఠలుడా, నా వెనక ముందు నీవే విష్ణుదేవుడా, అంతయు నీవే హరిపుండరీకాక్ష, ఎంత నాకు నీవే శ్రీ రఘురామా, శ్రీ రఘురామా, శ్రీ రఘురామా. పుట్టుగు నీవే పురుషోత్తమా, పుట్టుగు నీవే పురుషోత్తమా, పురుషోత్తమా కోన నట్ట నడుము నీవే నారాయణ ఒట్టుగు నీవే పురుషోత్తమా నా నట్ట నడుము నీవే నారాయణ ఇటే శ్రీ వెంకటేశ్వరుడా ఇట్టే శ్రీ వెంకటేశ్వరుడా నాకు నెట్టన గతి ఇంక నీవే నీవే అంతయో నీవే హరి పుండరీకాక్ష చెంత నాకు నీవే శ్రీ రఘురామా అంతయో నీవే హరి పుండరీకాక్ష చెంత నాకు నీవే శ్రీ రఘురామా శ్రీ రఘురామా శ్రీ రఘురామా. నమస్కారం అండి, అందరికీ నమస్కారం. శ్రీరామనవమి శుభాకాంక్షలు అందరికీ. విశ్వరూప సాయి వారికి అందరికీ, శ్రీ రంగస్వామి గారికి, విశ్వరూప సాయి వారికి అందరికీ కూడా నా నమస్కారాలు, నా కృతజ్ఞతలు అండి.
జయలక్ష్మి గారు బాగా పాడారండి అన్నీ కూడాను. ఆ భావయ రఘురామం, తర్వాత ఆ అఠాణ పురంధరదాసు వారిది, తర్వాత అదేంటి ఆమోగియా శ్రీరంజని ఒకటి పాడారే.
ఏది శ్రీరంజని కదా పడి, శ్రీరంజని పాడే.
శ్రీరంజని బాగా పాడారు. తర్వాత
టైం లేదని ఆలాపన చేయలేదని.
తర్వాత అన్నమాచార్య ఇది కూడా బాగా పాడారు.
అంతయ్య నీవేనా?
అంతే నీవా?
లాస్ట్ లో పడిందే
అదే. అన్ని కూడా స్టార్టింగ్ నాటే సూపర్. అన్ని విన్నాను, విన్నానని చెప్తున్నాను చూసారా, ఒప్పగిస్తున్నాను మీకు. ఒకటి కూడా మిస్ అవ్వ. అన్ని విన్నానని మీకు
అట్ట కాదండి, కాదు మీరు కూడా ఉండకపోతే ఎట్టా?
అలా కాదు, నేను ఉండకపోతే
నేను 5 నుంచి 6 వరకు ఇస్తాను. ఏమండి 7 నాకు ఎప్పుడు కానీ 6 నుంచి 7 వరకు ఇవ్వండి, నేను మీకు చెప్తాను.
ఓకే,
ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు గుర్తుంచుకోండి, 6 నుంచి 7 వరకు పాడతాను.
నెక్స్ట్ టైం నుంచి 6 నుంచి 7కి ఇస్తాను.
అది ఏమంటే నేను అంటే నాకు స్లాట్స్ అన్ని అయిపోతాయి. నేను చూసేప్పటికి 4:30కు, 3:30కు, 2:30కు అట్టుంటాయి. నేను మొన్న ఏం చేశానంటే 5:30 నుంచి 6 దాకా ఇస్తున్నాను, అరగంటే పాడదామని. అక్కడ ఏమైందంటే సరోజ గారు ఆమె పాడతారని మళ్ళీ నాది లేదు, నా పేరు లేదు, అందరూ ఉన్నాయి, నా పేరు లేదు. అప్పుడు నేను మళ్ళా వేసుకుంటే ఇప్పుడు ఏం చేశారంటే 4:30 నుంచి 5:30 దాకా వేశారు. పర్వాలేదులేండి. అట్టా మీరు కూడా లేకపోతే ఎట్లా నాకు చెప్పండి.
నేను ఎక్కడ లేకపోతాను.
అదే నేను అన్ని విన్నాను, చూసారంటే మీరుంటారు, నాకు తెలుసు కదా.
అది మీరు అందరూ బాగా సంగీతం వచ్చిన వాళ్ళదంటే ఇంకా బాగా వింటాను. అది ఎందుకంటే చాలా బాగుంటుంది కదా. ఏమండి, ఎంతమందికి ఇలాంటి ఒక భాగ్యం కలుగుతుంది చెప్పండి? ఎన్ని కచేరీలు వెళ్ళేకి అవుతుంది
కదా. వాటిలండి ఆ శ్రీరాముడికి పాడతాం అంతే, మనుషుల కోసం.
ఇక్కడ కూర్చొని ఇంత గొప్ప గొప్ప సంగీతాలు వినటానికి ఒక భాగ్యం ఎవరికి కలుగుతుందండి? నా తప్ప కదా. అందరూ ఎంత బాగా పాడుతున్నారు, చాలా మంది బాగా పాడారు.
కాదండి, వాళ్ళకంతా మంచి వర్త్ ఉంది కాబట్టి వాళ్ళకు అందరు వచ్చి వింటారు, సంగీతం వచ్చిన వాళ్ళు. అది సంగతి. వర్త్ ఉంటే వచ్చి వింటారు. మరి
అట్లా కాదు,
మరి ఇంకా వర్త్ లేదనుకోవాలో ఎందుకోవాలో తెలియదు.
అట్లా కాదు, ఇక్కడ అందరూ ఇప్పుడు ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు పెద్ద విద్వాంసులు ఎవరైనా సపోజ్ ఇక్కడ వచ్చినా కూడా వాళ్ళు కూడా ఇక ఏంటంటే
టైం అటువంటిదండి. ఆ టైంలో ఎవరు ఉండరు, నాకు తెలుసు.
బట్ ఏం చేయాలి చెప్పండి, ప్రైమ్ టైం. బట్ నేను ప్రోగ్రామ్ చేయాలంటే నాకు పొద్దున్న సాయంత్రం వరకే కదా చేసేకపోతుంది.
పాపం నిజమే, నేను మెసేజ్ పెట్టినా కూడా మీకు చూడడానికి వీలు ఉండదు, ఎందుకంటే మీరు దాంట్లో ఉంటారు లింక్ లో.
ప్రొద్దున 6 గంటలకి అంటే మీకు 6 గంటలకంటే నాకు 4:30 అంటే నేను 4 గంటలకు లేయాలి.
ఎప్పుడు అంటే మీకు
రోజు
మాకు ఎన్ని గంటలండి?
గంటన్నర తేడా.
అబ్బా,
గంటన్నర తేడా. అండ్ ఒక్కొక్కసారి అమెరికా వాళ్ళు ఏమంటారంటే, సార్ మాకు 6 గంటలకు అవ్వదండి. ఈస్ట్ కోస్ట్ వాళ్ళు అంటే న్యూ జెర్సీ, న్యూయార్క్, బోస్టన్లో ఉండేవాళ్ళు. అందుకని వాళ్ళ కోసం నేను 5:30 to 6 స్లాట్ ఇస్తాను. అంటే
ఇప్పుడు 4:30 నుంచి 5:30 అంటే మీకు ఎన్ని గంటలు అప్పటికి?
ఇప్పుడు 4 ఇప్పుడు మాకెంత, ఇప్పుడు మీకు 5:30 అంటే మాకు 4 గంటలు.
ఆ?
సాయంత్రం 4 గంటలు.
ఓయమ్మా,
మాకు 5:30 దాటింది. 5:30 PM తిరుపతి.
మాకు ఇప్పుడు 4:04.
మాకు 5:34.
అది
ఇప్పుడు
ఏంటంటే
వాళ్ళకి
అలవాటు అయిపోయింది. పొద్దున్న 4 గంటలకు లేస్తే రాత్రి 10 గంటల వరకు సంగీతం ఒక రోజు 10 రోజులు వినాలి అని ఒక అలవాటు అయిపోయింది 5 సంవత్సరాలుగా. ఈ రోజు నుంచి నిన్నటి నుంచి మనం 6వ సంవత్సరంలో అడుగు పెట్టాం. సో ఇది ఇలాగ అలవాటు అయిపోయింది. చిన్నప్పుడు మనం పొద్దున్న లేస్తాము, అలాగ అలవాటు అయిపోయింది. అది చాలా సంతోషం, బాగా పాడారు, వెరీ నైస్.
మీరు విన్నారండి ప్రభావతి గారు?
లేదు మేడం, ఏమనుకోవద్దండి, మాకు ఇంటికి ఎవరు
అదే నేను అంటాం.
అంటే లేదు నేను యూట్యూబ్ లో మళ్ళీ వింటున్నాను అన్ని. అది వింటా తప్పకుండా. విజయలక్ష్మి గారు కదా మీ పేరు? విజయలక్ష్మి గారు
వినండి.
గట్టుపల్లి.
వింటా తప్పకుండా.
சரோஜா மாமி வந்திருக்கேடா?
சரோஜாராமன்.
சரோஜராமன் மாமி இருந்தேடே?
இருக்கா
எங்க தெரியல. ராமன் சார், ஆதித்யா ஏன் பாட மாட்டேங்கிறான்? இல்ல எங்க இதுல ஏன் பாட மாட்டேங்கிறான்?
மோட்டரோலா எம்விஆர்னு போட்டு, மோட்டரோலா எம்விஆர்.
சார் ராமன் சார், ஆதித்யா ஏன் பாட மாட்டேங்கிறான்?
ஜி பவர்.
நமஸ்காரம் சார், ஐ வில் ஸ்பீக் டு ஹிம் டெஃபினெட்லி. ஐ வில் கெட் ஹிம் பேக்
ப்ளீஸ். ஏன்னா இஸ் ஒன் ஆஃப் த வெரி கிரேட் மியூசிஷியன்ஸ். என்ன ஒரு வித்வத்து, என்ன ஒரு நாலேஜ் ஆஃப் மியூசிக். அவ எல்லாம் பாடினாலும் நான்
I will speak to him today. I will speak to him.
ఆదిత్య ఈరంకి అంటారు ఆయన అండి?
కాదండి, ఈయన ఆదిత్య మోహన్ ని చాలా గొప్ప విద్వాంసుడు. ఆదిత్య ఈయనకి మన అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్. ఈయన చాలా మీకు ఈయన ఒక వీడియో పెడతాను చూడండి, అబ్బా వేరే లెవెల్.
சார் என்னோட வீடியோ டிசேபிள் பண்ணிருக்கீங்களே நீங்க?
எங்க நீங்க மோட்டரோலா ஜி நீங்க தானே அது?
ஆமா ஆமா, அத ஆன் பண்ணிடுங்க. டிசேபிள்
நீங்களும் மோட்டரோலா ஜின்ட்டு வந்தா எப்படி சொல்லுங்க?
ஆமா,
ஒரே ஒரு நிமிஷம்.
Sir, another request, mute my mic. அது I don't know how to do it.
உங்க மைக் எங்க இருக்கு?
எம்வி ராமன்.
இல்ல, மைக் வீட்டுல தான் இருக்கு.
ஓகே, thank you sir.
நமஸ்காரம்.
ஒரே ஒரு நிமிஷம். உங்க பேரு மோட்டரோலா ஜின்ட்டு இல்ல, டாக்டர் சரோஜா ராமன் இருக்கா?
ஆரம்பிக்கலாமா?
இது ஒரு நிமிஷம்.
சரி சரி.
சாய்ராமா. இன்னைக்குலேருந்து என்ன தெரியுமா, இந்த ஒரு 9 நாள் ராமாயணம் நவாகம் எல்லாரும் வந்து கேளுங்க. எனக்கா சின்ன குழந்தைகள் அவ்வளவு நன்னா உபன்யாசம் பண்றவா, நல்லா படிச்சவா, எல்லாம் சின்ன சின்ன குழந்தைகள். என்ன இன்னைக்குலேருந்து 6:30 to 8 till 13th. ஓகே, வாங்க பாடுங்க மாமி. ஹாப்பி ராமநவமி.
ஹாப்பி ராமநவமி டு யூ.
நம்ப மாட்டேன், அதாவது 9 நாளா என்ன ஒரு வசதியான ராமநாம சங்கீர்த்தனம். நேற்று ராம நாடகம் பண்ணினா யாரு? கமலா மாமி. மத்தியானம் திடீர்னு ரகுவீர கத்தியம், அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு பர்ஃபெக்டா நான் கேட்டதே இல்லை. அவ்வளோ அழகா ஜெய்ஸ்ரீன்ட்டு ஒரு நம்ம உஷாவோட தங்க, சூப்பர் பர்ஃபெக்ட். அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு சம்ஸ்கிருதம் நான் கேட்டதே இல்லை. என்ன சாண்டிங் எல்லாம் பாருங்க. இன்னொருத்தர் வந்து ஃபுல் ராமச்சரித்த கீதம் பாடினா, ராமாயணம் மயமா இருக்கு 9 நாளா. எல்லாம் நல்லா பாடுறா, சூப்பர். பாடுங்க.
Namaskaram. I'm happy to be here. I think I'm attending the 5th Ramanavami with VRSC. I'm very fortunate to be in this divine platform. I'm thankful to VRSC and also Rangaswamy Krishna sir for giving me this opportunity. This gives me a lot of initiative and opportunity to learn new songs on different composers, on different god and goddesses. Thank you very much, sir. I start the concert. Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunataya Nathaya Sitaya Padaye Namah Sitaya Padaye Namah. We all know that Saint Tyagaraja has composed all the songs on Lord Rama in Navarasa, and I would like to start with a Tyagaraja Kriti in the Ragam Asaveri, requesting Lord Rama to come to my house on the day of Ramanavami. Thank you. I start. Rama Ganditaga Rama Ganditaga Rama Ganditaga Raghubira Sukumara Roke Rama Daga 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 Radha Sarada Kumara Radha Sarada Kumara Radha Sarada Kumara Nelura Radha Sarada Kumara Nalelu Koratala Yerama Rarada Sharata Kumarana Nelu Koratala Yerama Gedi Daga Raghubira Sukumara Rokera Rama Gedi Daga నీవనుచు తెలిసినను బ్రోవ నీవనుచు తెలిసినను బ్రోవ గ్రగుణ రావు కరుణను నీవనుచు తెలిసినను బ్రోవ ప్రకునరావు కరుణను జికియున్నదెల్ల మరదూరైకే ಜಿಕಿಯೋನದಲ್ಲ ಮರದೂರಾಯಿಗೆ ಜಿಕಿಯೋನದಲ್ಲ ಮರದೂರಾಯಿಗೆ ಶ್ರೀ ತ್ಯಾಗ ರಾಜೂನಿ ಭಾಗ್ಯಮಾಗ ಜಿಕಿಯೋನದಲ್ಲ ಮರದೂರಾಯಿಗೆ ತ್ಯಾಗ ರಾಜೂನಿ ಭಾಗ್ಯ ಮಾರಮಗಿಟಿ ದಾಗ ರಘುವೀರ ಸುಕುಮಾರ ರಮಗಿಟಿ ದಾಗ Next one is in the is a Raga Malika in Tamil. This is a Raga Malika composed by Srimati Neela Ramamurthy on Ramayana by her. மாசிலயோதியில் மன்ன தசரதன் மாதவத வந்த மைந்தனேத்தலோ மாசிலயோதியில் மன்ன தசரதன் மாதவதால் வந்த மைந்தனேத்தலோ கோசிகரை தொடர்ந்து கொடியவரை அழித்து கோசிகரை தொடர்ந்து கொடியவரை அழித்து யாகம் தன்னை காத்த தீரனேதலோ யாகம் தன்னை காத்த தீரனேதலோ பாதையிலே ஒரு கல்லுருவாய் நின்ற பாவை கருள் செய்த பாலனே தாலோ பாதையிலே ஒரு கல்லுருவாய் நின்ற பாவை கருள் செய்த பாலனே தாலோ சீதை மனு குளிர சோதனையில் வென்ற சீதை மனு குளிர சோதனையில் வென்ற ஸ்ரீதரனே ரகுராமனே தாலோ ஸ்ரீதரனே ரகு ராமனே தாலோ தந்தை சொல் காக்கவே தம்பியும் தரமோ தொடரவனும் வந்த ராமனேத்தாலோ தந்தை சொல் காக்கவே தம்பியுதாரமோ தொடரவனும் வந்த ராமனேத்தாலோ சுந்தரியை பிரிந்த ஆதிபகரைது சுந்தரியை பிரிந்த ஆதிபகரைது சிந்தை கலகிற ஐயனேத்தாலோ சிந்தை கலகிற ஐயனேத்தாலோ வானர படையுடன் வந்திலகேசனை வானர படையுடன் வந்திலகேசனை கொன்றவனே ரகு ராமனேத்தாலோ வானர படையுடன் சென்றிலங்கேசனை கொன்றவனே ரகு ராமனேத்தாலோ அன்பவனோ குளிர அரசு முடி தரித்தானந்த ராமனே அருள் புரிந்தாலோ ஆனந்த ராமனே அருள் புரிந்தாலோ The next kriti is Annamacharya kriti. This is in the ragam Hindolam. தேவதேவம் பஜே தேவ பிரபாவம் தேவதேவம் பஜே தேவ பிரபாவம் ராவணாசுரவைரி ரணபூகவோ ராமோ தேவ தேவோ பஜே திவ்ய பிரபாவோ ராவணாசுரவைரி ரணபூகவோ ராமோ தேவ தேவோ பஜே திவ்ய பிரபாவோ ராவணாசுர வைரி ரணபூகவோ ராமோ தேவ தேவோ பஜே திவ்ய பிரபாவோ राजवरशेखरो रविकुल सुधाकरो राजवरशेखरो रविकुल सुधाकरो आजानो नीलाम्रगायो राजवर शेखरो रविकुल सुधाकरो आजानो बाबू नीलाम्रकायो राजारी गोदंड राजदीक्षा गुरु राजारि गोदण्ड राजदीक्षा गुरु राजारि गोदण्ड राजदीक्षा गुरु राजीवलोचनो रामचन्द्रो राजारि गोदण्डं राजदीक्षा गुरो राजीवलोचनो रामचन्द्रो देवदेवो भजे दिव्य प्रभावो रावणासुरवैरि रणपूगवो रामो देवदेवो भजे दिव्य प्रभावम् पंकजासन विनुत परमनारायणो पंकजासन विनुत परमनारायणो शंकराजित जनक शाबदलनो पंकजासन विनोद परमनारायणो शंकराजित जनक शाबदलनो लंका विसक्षणो लंका विसक्षणो लालित विभीषणो लंका विसक्षणो लालित विभीषणो वेंकटेशो साधु विविध विनुतो लंका विसक्षणो लालित विभीषणो वेंकटेशो साधु विबुध विनुतो देवदेवो भजे दिव्य प्रभावो रावणासुरवैरि रणपूगवो रामो देवदेवो भजे दिव्य प्रभावो The next kriti is in the raga Mohanam, a composition of Saint Tyagaraja, set to Aditar.
மோகன 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 மூதடி தெய்வம மோகன ராம மூதடி தெய்வம மோகமோ நீ மோனஜியு யூனதீர மோகமோ நீ மௌனஜியு யூன தீர மோகன மோக சித்த மோக கோப ஜகன் மோகன மா மனு ஜவதர மகிம விகிடி தர மனு ஜவதர மகிம விகிடி சூரக்கு நரக்கு புருஷ வித்யதரய தரமனு ஜதய ரமகிமய வியனி சூரக நரகு புருஷ வித்யாதர சுரபதி விதி விபகர சந்திர துலோ சுரபதி விதி விபகர சந்திர துலோ கரகுசு प्रेमतो परमृग पक्षी वागदनुलचे परमृग पक्षी वरनयदनुलचे गिरिनिवेलयो सीता वरसिकरयलमु गिरिनिवेलयो सीता वरसिकरयलमु गुरितपयमये Puritapagamai Marajise Vimuparai Puritapagamai Marajise Vimuparai Varatyaga Rajaya Varadakilaya Jagan Varatyaga Rajaya Varadakilaya Jagan Gana Rama Mukha Chita Sogo Mamuduga Pal Gana Next one is a Padam composed by Kshetrajna in the Raga Bhairavi set to Aditali. Rama Rama Prana Saki Neda Basi Rama Rama Prana Saki Neda Bagasi Rama Rama Prana Saki Vasi Ramu Tu Bale Tale Lo Montu Rama Rama Prana Saki Vasi Ramu Tu Bale Tale No Mundu Ramu Tu Bale Tale No Rama Rama Prana Saki Nena Vasi Ramota Tu Bale Tale No Mundu Rama Rama Prana Saki Tamara Sakshuni Tamara Sakshuni Talajitena Kunte Tamara Sakshuni Talajitena Kunte Tamara Sakshuni Talajitena Kunte Talladam Badane Mandu Naiya Talladam Badane Mandu Naiya Rama Rama Prana Saki Nedu Vasi Puta Tu Pale Tale No Mundu Kaliki Chiluka Palukugilla Gunatandiki Kaliki Chiluka Palukugilla Gunatandiki Kana Sulam Undaleto Kaliki Chiluka Paluku Ilagunattaniki Kana Sulam Undaleto Nelanayadani வாலிடிக்கு நீல குண நலராயடனே வாலிடிக்கு நீல குண நிபுல கூபையே உண்டலே ஏதோ நிபுல கூபையே உண்டலே ஏதோ తెలియక నూరాత్రినే పగలు నీ తీరు నన్ను తెలియక నూరాత్రినే పగలు నీ తీరు నన్ను దిగులు మదిలో దోస నేమో దిగులు మదిలో దోస నేమో తెలియనడ బసి నపనుడి నవనసు తెలియనడ బసి నపడున మనసు చింతర உனதயோ சிந்தரவதரை யுனதயோ ரம ரம பிரணயசகி நேடபகசி ராமுடது வலே காலேனோ முந்து ரம ரம பிராணசகி Next kriti is on Rama Bhakti Samrajya. This is a composition of Srimati K.M. Soundravalli, elder sister of Srimati Kalyani Vardarajan. That is my mother-in-law. Both the sisters have composed songs on different deities in Telugu, Sanskrit, and Tamil. Now I'm going to present a kriti of Srimati Soundravalli, which is set to Rupakatalam. Rama Bhakti Samrajya Sarvabhaumute Manasa Rama Bhakti Samrajya Sarvabhaumute Manasa Rama Bhakti Samrajya Sarvabhaumute Manasa Rama Bhakti Samrajya सार्वभौमुखे मनसा राम भक्ति साम्राज्य सार्वभौमुखे मनसा राम भक्ति साम्राज्य पामर जन मूल पामर जन मूल पालिडी पामर जन मूल पालिडी कमधेनुवे पामर जन मूल पालिडी कमधेनुवे नाम सुधा रसमु प्रोल नारदांशुडे भुविनी पामर जनमूल पालिडी कामधेनुवे नाम सुधा रसमु प्रोल नारदांशुडे भुविनी राम भक्ति साम्राज्य सार्वभौमुटे मनसा रागमो अनुरागमो तो मेलव्यूपगा रागमो अनुरागमो तो मेलव्यूपगा पागुग श्रुति लय लमर भक्ति मीरग रागमो अनुरागमो तो मेलव्यूपगा पागुग श्रुति लयवो लमर भक्ति मीरग आगम विधिनो सर्जे आगम विधिनो सर्जे अति मधुर मुख त्यागराजो कृतुल जैसी धन्य तु कनेगा आगम विधिनो सर्जे अति मधुर मुख त्यागराजो कृतुल जैसी धन्यत गनगाइलनु राम भक्ति साम्राज्य सार्वभौमुटे मनसा राम भक्ति साम्राज्य सार्वभौमुटे मनसा. The next kriti is Tyagaraja Giti again in the Ragam Husaini. रघुबीर रणधीर राम राजकुमार रघुबीर रणधीर राजकुमार रघुवीर रणधीर राजकुमार रघुवीर रणधीर भृगुसोम சூனோ மத விதர பிருகுசூனோ மத விதர பிருந்தார கதர பிருகுசூனோ மத விதர பிருந்தார கதர ரகுபேர ரணதீர ராஜகுமார ரகுபீர ரணதீர ராவண கடகரண பலராதி ராவண கடகன பலராதி ரிபுநகரகரி சாவர ஜங்கமரூப தியாகராஜ ஜரி ராவண கடகர்ண பலராதி ரிபுநகநகரி சாவர ஜங்கமரூப தியாகராஜ ஜரி ரகுவீர ரணதீர ராஜகுமார ரகுவீர ரணதீர The next one is it's a Alvar Pasuram, Kulasekara Alvar Pasuram, which is in this is a Ragamalika. மண்ணு புகழ் கோசலைதன் மணிவயறு வாய்த்தவனே மண்ணு புகழ் கோசலைதன் மணிவயறு வாய்த்தவனே தென்னிலங்கை கோன்முடிகள் சிந்துவே தாய் சென்பொன்சேர் தென்னிலங்கை கோன்முடிகள் சிந்துவே தாய் சென்பொன்சேர் கண்ணினமாவதில் குடசோர் கணபுரத்த கருமணியே கண்ணினமா மதில் புழசோர் கணபுரத்த கருமணியே என்னுடைய இனமுதே ராகவனே தாலேலோ என்னுடைய இனமுதே ராகவனே தாலேலோ கொங்குமலை கருங்குழலால் கோசலை தன்குல மதல்லாய் கொங்குமலை கருங்குழலால் கோசலை தன்குல மதல்லாய் தங்கு பெரும் புகழ் சனகம் திருமருகா தாசரதி கங்கையிலும் தீர்த்தமலி கணபுரத கருமணியே கங்கையிலும் தீர்த்தமலி கணபுரத கருமணியே எங்கள் குல திண்டபோதே ராகவனே தாலேலோ எங்கள் குல தினமோதே ராகவனே தாலேலோ தாமரை வேலயனவனை படைத்தவனே தசரதன் தன் தாமரை மேலயனவனை படைத்தவனே தசரதன் தன் மாமதலாய் மைதலித்தின் மாமதலாய் மைத்திலே தன்மனவாள தாமரை மேல் அயனவனை படைத்தவனே தசரதன் தன் மாமதலாய் மைதலி தன் மனவாள வண்டினங்கள் காமரம் திசை பாடும் கணபுரத்து கருமணியே ஏமருவும் சிலை வலவ ராகவனே தாலேலோ மலையதனால் அணை கட்டி மதிலிலங்கை அழித்தவனே மலையதனால் அணை கட்டி மதிலிலங்கை அழித்தவனே அலைக்கடலை கடைந்த மாறா கமுதருளி செய்தவனே அடைக்கடலை அலைக்கடலை அடைந்த மரக்கு அமுதருளி செய்தவனே கலை வளவர் தாம்பாழும் கணபுரத்து கருமணிய கலை வளவர் தாம்பாழும் கணபுரத்து கருமணிய சிலை வளவர் சேவகனே ஸ்ரீராமா தாலேலோ சிலை வளவா சேவகனே ஸ்ரீராமா தாலேலோ தேவரையும் அசுரரையும் திசைகளையும் படைத்தவனே தேவரையும் அசுரரையும் திசைகளையும் படைத்தவனே யாவரும் வந்து அடிவணக அரங்கனக துயின்றவனே தேவரையும் அசுரரையும் திசைகளையும் படைத்தவனே யாவரும் வந்து அடிபணக அரங்கனகர் துயன்றவனே கவி காவிரி நல்லதி பாயும் கணபுரத்தின் கண்மணியே ஏவரிவன் சிலை வலவ ராகவனே தாலேலோ கண்ணினன் மாமதில் புடை சூழ் கணபுரத்தின் காக்குத்தன் தன்னடிவே தாலேலோ என்றுரைத்த தமிழ் மாலை கொல்நவிலும் வேல் வளவன் குடை குலசேகரன் சொல்ல பண்ணிய நூல் பத்தும் வல்ல பாகாய பக்தர்களே I'd like to conclude with a Mangalam. ಪತಿಕಿ ಮಗಳ ಹಾರದಿರೆ ಪಮಲಾರನೇಡು ಸಾಗೇತಗ ಪದಿಕಿ ಮಗಳ ಹಾರದಿರೆ ಪಮಲಾರನೇಡು ಪದಿಕಿ ಸೋಮುಗಲುಗ ದೇಯು ಸದ್ಗುಣ ತಿರುಗಿ ಮಾನವ ತೀದ ಪದಿಗೆ ಮಂಗಳ ಆರತಿರೇ ಕಮಾದಿರಿ ಭೂಮಿ ತಾನಿಗೆ ಅರಿಗೆ ಸಮಾಧಿ ನಿಗಮ ತಾನಿಗೆ ಸೂರ್ಯ ಸೋಮಾಕ್ಷುಣಿಗೆ ತ್ಯಾಗರಾಜ ಪ್ರೇಮಾವತಾರ ಗೋಗಲ ಪದಿಗೆ ಮಂಗಳ ಆರತಿರೇ ಕಮಲಾರ ನೇಡು Thank you very much.
மாமி ரொம்ப ரொம்ப அழகா பாடினேன். சூப்பர். எல்லாமே கிரேட் காம்போசிஷன்ஸ். அப்புறம் விதுஷி மணி சுந்தரவல்லி மாமியோட அந்த காம்போசிஷன் ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கு. அது என்ன கல்யாண வசந்தமா இல்ல மதுவந்தியா?
அது மதுவந்தி மாதிரி சுனாத ரஞ்சினின்ட்டு மதுவந்தி அது சுனாத ரஞ்சினின்னு
அதான் மதுவந்தி ஆட்டம் இருந்தது. அதான் கேட்கலாம்.
மதுவந்தி மாதிரி தான் கல்யாணி வரதராஜனும் பண்ணியிருக்கா. சாந்த துர்கா தேவி அது கொஞ்சம் டிஃப்ரெண்டா இருக்கும்.
சூப்பர், அழகு, ரொம்ப நல்லா இருந்தது. நீங்க இன்னைக்கா டிராவல் பண்றேன் நாளைக்கா?
இல்ல சார், நான் வந்துட்டேன். 26ஆம் தேதி டிராவல் பண்ணேன், வந்துட்டேன். 28ஆம் தேதி ஐ அம் ஹியர் இன் சென்னை.
ஓ, வெரி குட், வெரி குட். ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம். விஷ் யூ వెరీ వెరీ హ్యాపీ రామనవమి. పీపుల్ హూ మే నాట్ నో.
బాగుంది మేడం, చాలా బాగుంది.
థ్యాంక్ యూ మేడం.
సరోజ గారు
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
నమస్కారం, గుడ్ మార్నింగ్.
సేతుమాధవి మేడం, థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్. Humble presentation, that's all.
Yeah, no, it's lot of bhakti. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And starting from today, we are having a Ramayana Navaham. You know, this is initiative and of our admin, Vidushi Mani Bhavatarini Anantaraman. She has collated the whole, the whole program in collaboration with Anand Dayanidhi Bhagavatar sir. And today we have the first Upanyasam by Chiranjeevi Kumari Akhila Hariharan. 1 second, Kanna, I would like to just read, for the youngsters, they may get inspired to be in this space of supreme consciousness. Today we have with us Chiranjeevi Kumari Shri Ji, who is currently pursuing her chartered accountancy. She is under the tutelage of Shri Anand Dayanidhi Bhagavatar and has given various discourses on Srimad Ramayanam and Srimad Bhagavatam. She is a disciple of Srimati Padmini Ravi for Carnatic vocal and has performed a few concerts as well. Over to Shri to start the Upanyasam. And those who want to have the darshan of the Sita Kalyanam that is going on, Adhya, that is the child of Bhavatarini madam, has logged in from the temple where the Sita Kalyanam is going on. You can have the darshan as well. I have spotlighted that as well. Saira. Over to Shri.
जानकीकान्तस्मरणं जय जय राम राम.
Sorry, I think I read the wrong profile. 1 second. Today we have Akhila Hariharan, who is going to. 1 second, I'll read the correct profile. Just sorry, Kanna. There are 9 profiles in the one mix site. Yeah. Today she'll be talking on the topic Sri Rama Avataram. Yeah, Jai Shri Dane, correct. Jai Shri is the one who's going to speak. Jai Shri Dane ma?
Akhila Hariharan.
Akhila, I mean, you are going to speak on what? Okay, Jai Shri Rama Avataram. Okay, then I'll read about Akhila. 1 second. Because youngsters should know, I read this for the Aranya, Apram, Krishna, Netra, Hari, Medhashi, Vatsalya. Yeah, Akhila Hariharan has been initiated to give spiritual discourses from the tender age of 7 years. She's learning Upanyasam from Sri Anand Dayanidhi ji and flute from Vidushi Srimati Bhagyalakshmi and Carnatic vocal from Srimati Srividya Ganesh. She's proficient in Sanskritam and has completed the 5th level Pravesha of Sanskritam. Akhila is now pursuing her 2nd year BA Economics with the Madras School of Economics. Over to you, Akhila.
जानकीकान्तस्मरणं जय जय राम राम. सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. आंजनेय स्वामी की जय. हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे. हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे. शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये. वागीशाध्यासु मनसः सर्वार्थानामुपक्रमे यं नत्वा कृतकृत्यासु भूतं नमामि गजाननं. दोर्भिर्युक्ता चतुर्भिस्फटिकमणिमयीमक्षमालां दधाना हस्तेनैकेन पद्मं सितमपि च शुकं पुस्तकं चापरेण भासा कुन्तेन्दुशङ्खस्फटिकमणिनिभा भासमाना समाना. सा मे वाग्देवतेयं निवसतु वदने सर्वदा सुप्रसन्ना. पूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलं. यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं भाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम्. वैदेही सहितं सुरद्रुमतले हैमे महामण्डपे मध्ये पुष्पकमासने मणिमये वीरासने सुस्थितम्. अग्रे वाचयति प्रभञ्जनसुते तत्त्वं मुनिभ्यः परम्. व्याख्यान्तं वरदादिभिः परिवृतं रामं भजे श्यामळम्. वामे भूमिसुता पुरश्च हनुमान् पश्चात् सुमित्रासुतः शत्रुघ्नो भरतश्च पार्श्वदलयो वायवादिकोणेषु च सुग्रीवश्च विभीषणश्च युवराट् तारासुतो जाम्बवान्. मध्ये नीलसरोजकोमलरुचिं रामं भजे श्यामळम्. नमोऽस्तु रामाय सलक्ष्मणाय देव्यै च तस्यै जनकात्मजायै नमोऽस्तु रुद्रेन्द्रयमानिनेभ्यो नमोऽस्तु चन्द्रार्कमरुद्गणेभ्यः हरे रामेति कृष्णेति नाम संकीर्तनं सदा लोकक्षेमाय कुर्वन्तं प्रेमिकं सद्गुरुं भजे कलये सुन्दराकारं सदैकप्रियदर्शनम् अज्ञाननाशकं देवं सद्गुरुं मुरलीधरं मुरलीमण्डितकरकमलं मुनिजनमोहनं व्यत्यस्तपादं वनमालाधारिणं प्रेमभक्तमण्डलनित्यकीर्तितं श्रीप्रेमिकवरदम् आश्रयेऽहं श्रीहरये नमः श्रीहरये नमः श्रीहरये नमः जानकीकान्तस्मरणं जय जय राम राम सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. With the abundant grace of Shri Bhagavan, Madhuri Saki Sameda Shri Premika Varada Thakurji, and with the abundant grace of our Guru Maharaj, Maharanyam Shri Shri Muralidhara Swamiji, we have been blessed a 9-day satsangam to relish the gunas and the kathas of Ramachandra Prabhu. It is said that Bhagavan gives satsangam to someone only after he is given everything possible. Only if he is extremely pleased with them, he has first given them riches, a good family, education, everything he possibly can. And finally, he wants his children to be united with him. Only to them does Bhagavan give them the blessing of a Guru Maharaj or a Satsangam. Tulsidas ji in a doha he says, Binu Satsanga Vivek na hoi, Rama Kripa bina sulabh na hoi. True intelligence is very, very hard without Satsangam. And that Satsangam is can be obtained only through Ramachandra Prabhu's Kripa. So with his abundant Kripa, today we have the chance to relish Shri Ramayana Avataram and Shri Rama Avataram. Our Guru Maharaj would say, Navami does not only commemorate the Avataram of Ramachandra Prabhu, but also the Avataram of Ramayana. Because Veda Vedya Pare Pumsi Jate Dasharatatmaje Vedaha Pracheta Satasi Sakshat Ramayanatmana. When the Veda Vedyan, the Parabrahmam that Vedas talk about, when he descends, when he takes the avatar of Ramachandra Prabhu, then Veda Mata herself becomes Shri Ramayana. So if we want to learn the dharma that Veda Mata talks about, then we look at the charitram, then we look at the story. And if we look at the charitra nayakan or the hero of the story, then we can see the Parabrahma. In a Kirtana, Guru Maharaj says, Ramayana is Bhakti Prapatti Kainkarya Shastre Jaya Jaya Rama Kathe Loke Jaya Jaya Rama Kathe. He calls it Bhakti Prapatti Kainkarya Shastre. So the first step is Bhakti. Then through that Bhakti, we can do Prapatti, which is surrender to Bhagavan. And the fruit of that Prapatti is Kainkaryam. Kainkaryam in Sanskrit literally means Kim Karomi. Kim Karomi, Kim Karomi, or the yearning that what can I do? What Kainkaryam can I do? What can I do? That yearning itself is a huge tapas. Guru Seva Cha Sankalpa Hechimaje Purnatapa Hechimaje Purnatapa. It is said that even yearning to do Kainkaryam is a huge tapas. But the first step, before Bhakti even, because Bhakti is the love that we feel for Bhagavan. Before that, before we learn Bhakti, the first thing we need to know is how to be a proper human. How to be a proper human first. We should learn Manushya Dharma. There are two types of Dharma. Samanya Dharma and Vishesha Dharma. Samanya Dharma is our normal Manushya Dharma, and Vishesha Dharma is what we call Bhagavata Dharma. So if we want to offer pure milk to Bhagavan, we should first clean the vessel, right? So first, if we want to offer it in a silver vessel, we first scrub it with vibhuti, pitambari, etc. And after that, in that, we pour that pure milk and we offer it to Bhagavan. So first, we should learn how to be a proper human first. And that is why Ramachandra Prabhu takes an avataram, to walk in the path of dharma, and with that, to make everybody around him follow their dharma also. Nammalvar in a pasuram, he says, Karpar Ramapiranayallal Matrum Karparo. if you want to learn how to live your life, any life lesson, if you want to learn, there is no better person to learn it from than Ramachandra Prabhu. And later in the same set of pasurams, he says, Ketpargal Keshavan Kirtiyallal Mattum Ketparo. Later, if you just want to unite with the divinity and just enjoy the Leelas, then you listen to Krishna's stories. So first, how to be a proper human being. To learn that, you should first read Shri Ramayana. Because our Guru Maharaj often says, Ramayana represents an ideal society. Ramachandra Prabhu is an ideal son. Dasharatha Maharaja is an ideal father. Kausalya Mata is an ideal mother. They're all ideal brothers, ideal wife. So if we want an ideal society, we look at Shri Ramayana. Because when Dasharatha Maharaja tells Ramachandra Prabhu, he first told, tomorrow you will be coronated. Then later he's saying, you're not going to be coronated. You have to leave to the forest for 14 years. Ramachandra Prabhu could have easily thrown Dasharatha Maharaja and Kaikeyi in the jail and he could have taken the throne. But he didn't do it. When Ramachandra Prabhu didn't do it, Lakshmana had the chance to do it. But even he doesn't do it. He chooses to walk with his brother. Similarly, when Bharatarvar comes back, the whole city is abandoned, right? So it is the chance, perfect chance for him to take the throne. He still doesn't do that. Similarly, Shatrughnadvar doesn't do that. Generally, in usual cases, what will happen is all brothers will fight for the same property. The property will be happy, but the brothers will be in the streets. But here, the brothers are saying, I don't want it, and the property is in the streets. This is the heights of being ideal. But if we want to look at a practical society, then we look at Mahabharata, right? There are two people in the same family, brothers in the same family, fighting for the same property. All that is practical. But if we want to see how to lead an ideal life, we look at Shri Ramachandra Prabhu's avataram and Shri Ramayana. That's why Prabhu even takes that avataram. Right? If the only goal of Bhagavan was to kill Ravana, he didn't even have to take an avataram, right? Or he could have taken an avataram like Nisimha Bhagavan. He could have just come, killed Ravana and left. But no, he stayed here for 11,000 years. And the reason was he wanted to show people how to lead their life and till the end, he kept saying, Atmanam Manusham Manye, Ramam Dasharatatmajam. He didn't once proclaim himself as Bhagavan. Throughout the end, he kept saying, I'm a human, and in that being a human, he stood in his dharma and showed us how to stay in our own dharma. That is why Prabhu takes an avataram. Because if one has to be happy all the time, or in pure bliss, that is how Bhagavan is in Sri Vaikuntham. If one has to be sad all the time, cribbing about something or the other, that is how we are. There is no reason for an avataram for that. So Ramachandra Prabhu's avataram's rahasyam is, inside he'll keep that pure happiness, but outside he'll put on a play as though he's suffering. That is why Prabhu takes an avataram. So before he takes that, in Sri Vaikuntham, Perumal and Pirati are sitting and discussing Ramayana avataram. Prabhu is saying, I will descend as Ramachandra Prabhu, you should descend as Sita Mata, then Ravana will come to abduct you. All of this part of Bhagavan's plan only. They planned that. It's all pre-planned. So while they were discussing that, Narada Maharshi walks into Sri Vaikuntham and he hears the entire story of Sri Ramayana. So now he's overjoyed because now he knows the avataram that Prabhu is going to take. Right? So he's thrilled about this and he wants to immediately go tell it to someone. Right? If we know something very interesting that we really care about, we'll immediately go look for someone to tell it to, right? We'll be very excited. So here Narada Maharshi, he hears the whole thing. He's overjoyed. He's like, oh, Prabhu is going to come as Sri Ramachandra Prabhu. And on the way back, he goes to Varuna Lokam. And there he starts telling the whole Ramayana story to Varuna Bhagavan. But the thing is, Varuna had a son. So he was very busy playing and cuddling with his son that he was a little insincere in listening to Narada Maharshi. Now Narada Maharshi got very angry. This is a very rare occurrence. Usually we hear Durvasa Maharshi getting angry or Vishwamitra Maharshi getting angry. Narada Maharshi getting angry is very rare. But he has a bigger plan in mind. So now he says, I am telling you such an important thing and you're not listening to me. And it's because you're busy playing with your son. So you and your son will be separated. Your son will be born in the human world. And he gives a curse like that. It is actually a blessing in the form of a curse. Because Mahatmas, they are actually incapable of giving curses. Whatever they say, they can only do anugraham. So even if they tell it like a curse, it will actually be a blessing. right? We taking the example of Narada Maharshi himself. Kubera's two sons, Nalakupara and Manigriva, they behaved a little disrespectfully with Narada Maharshi. And he said, both of you will become trees. It sounds like a curse, sure. But where did they end up as trees? In Lord Krishna's compound. So they had rich bhogam. And 2 days before Krishna went to Vrindavan, he told, okay, Shapa Vimochanam, and he let them go. So till then, they were witnessing all of Krishna's Bala Leelas. Like, this is what so many Mahans beg for. Uttakadu Venkatakavi says, Pullai Piravi Tara Vendum. Krishna, in your divine place, can I not be a blade of grass or a piece of stone somewhere? And these two are becoming trees. In Krishna's backyard inside his house, they're sitting as trees. So Narada Maharshi similarly here, he seemingly gives a curse that Varuna Bhagavan's son should be born in the human world. And when Varuna Bhagavan falls at Narada Bhagavan's feet and begs for forgiveness, Narada Maharshi says, don't worry, I have a plan in mind. It is through your son that I'm planning to reveal Ramayana to the entire world. And his son is none other than Valmiki Bhagavan. So Valmiki Bhagavan, he's found as a baby by a hunter couple. And they name him Ratnakaran. So he grows up doing hunting for a profession. He goes on to stealing from people, killing them and stealing their possessions from them. So like this, he keeps growing up and he gets married, he has children, and he's very fond of his family. So he by hook or crook, he makes sure that his family is well provided for, and he's very fond of his wife as well. So if his wife asks for something, he'll somehow make sure by stealing or something that he'll get it for her. So one day she asks him, I want a Nagaratna Male. Nagaratnam is very, very hard to get because it is Ratnam found inside a cobra which is not spewed poison for many, many years. So it's extremely rare to find Nagaratnam. So that day, Ratnakaran leaves home thinking, where can I get this necklace from? And then Narada Maharshi, at that day, Narada Maharshi decides it's time to uplift Ratnakaran. It is time to reveal his true purpose, the true reason why he is in this world. So there, Narada Bhagavan knows everything, right? He knows that he's looking for Nagaratna Male right now. So he comes wearing a huge necklace made of Nagaratnams. And Ratnakaran correctly spots him. He's saying, you look like an ascetic, you look like a saint. Why do you need all of these gems? You give it to me. Narada Maharshi says, no, I won't do that. And Ratnakaran says, look, if you don't give it to me, I will take it by force. Narada Maharshi says, you do this all the time, right? Do you not know that this is a sin? You will incur something called a papam. And if you do a lot of sins, you will end up in something called naragam or hell. They have all these tortures for people who do wrong things. Do you know that? If someone else had said it, probably Ratnakaran would have just bet them up. But here, he could see the tejas in Narada Maharshi's face. So he knew that this person will not lie. So he told, okay, you don't look like you're lying. But the thing is, I'm not doing all of this for myself. I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing it so that they will be happy. Then Narada Maharshi says, okay, if that is the case, you go ask them, I'm doing all of this for you. I am hunting, I am stealing, I am killing for you. And from that, I am incurring sins. Because I'm doing it for you, will you be willing to share that sin with me? Narada Maharshi says, you go ask this and come. And Ratnakaran says, okay, I will be right back. And he ties Narada Maharshi to a tree and he immediately runs back. And he asks his parents, his wife, his kids, if they're willing to share his sin with him. And they all say, look, it's your responsibility to take care of us. How you do that is your decision. We weren't the ones who forced you to go steal or hunt from anyone. So they all said it is your problem. You should only incur all these sins. I won't share it with you. So that's when Ratnakaran realizes, Ma kuru dhana jana yauvana garbam harati nimeshat kala sarvam maya mayamidam akhilam hitva brahmapadam tum pravisha viditva bhaja govindam. He realizes all of these materialistic things, they're all very transitory. And when one gets that real bhiti or fear of samsara, then what should one do? Guru Charanambuja निर्भर भक्तः संसारात् अचिरात् भवमुक्तः सेन्द्रियमानस नियमादेवं द्रक्ष्यसि निज हृदयस्थं देवम् गुरुचरणाम्बुज निर्भर भक्तः संसारात् अचिरात् भवमुक्तः. So if you go fall at the lotus feet of a guru, then he'll take care of everything. All our samsara bhayam will go. Right? So Ratnakaran immediately comes, he falls at the feet of Narada Maharshi and says, you should only protect me. Then Narada Maharshi reveals the true reason he's here. He's not here to give Ratnakaran Nagaratna Mala. He's there to give him a much more precious gem. As Meera Mata says, Vastu amolik दी मेरे सतगुरु कृपा कर अपनायो पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो. She says, my guru has given me a very priceless gem called Ramanama. And the beauty about this gem is, खर्च न कूटे चोर न लूटे दिन दिन बढ़त सबायो पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो. Nobody can steal this Ratnam from us. And not only that, as we keep chanting this Ratnam, its value keeps on increasing. And when our Guru Maharaj gives us a gem like this, Sat ki naav khevatiya Sat Guru Bhav sagar tar ayo payo ji maine Ram ratan dhan payo. मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर नागर मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर नागर हरक हरक जस गायो पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो. When our guru gives us a priceless gem like this, what he's actually doing is taking us on a boat where he's the boatman and we are crossing this whole samsara ocean and going to the lotus feet of Bhagavan. So here Narada Maharshi says, say Rama. And at that time, Ratnakaran couldn't even say the word Rama. He kept saying Lama. He couldn't even pronounce Rama. So that is how rare that gem is, right? Our Guru Maharaj would say, people would go ask him, if I say Ram Nam, will all my sins go and will I get punyam? Our Guru Maharaj would say, only if you have done crores and crores and crores of punyam and tapas will such a divine name even come in your lips. So here, he is not able to say Rama. But a guru will never stop until the Shishya reaches Bhagavan, right? As our Guru Maharaj says in a Kirtan, Ullivayil Pattadum Guruvayil Pattashidanum Guruvarul Petra Jadamum Pashupakshi Mirgangalum Meendave Meelade இது சத்தியம் மீளவே மீளாது சத்குருநாதர் பார்வையில் வீழ்ந்தவர் என்றும் மீண்டதுதானுண்டோ அல்லது மாண்டதுதானுண்டோ சத்குருநாதர் பார்வையில் வீழ்ந்தவர் என்றும் மீண்டதுதானுண்டோ. He says, if you somehow reach the lotus feet of a Guru Maharaj, then you have no escape from Bhagavan. He will somehow make sure that you reach him, right? So here Narada Maharshi says, you look at the tree. What is it called? So in Tamil tree is Maram, right? So Ratnakaran says that is Maram. Then Narada Maharshi says, no, you keep saying this again and again and again. So he sits in a place and starts chanting Mara, 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 Mara. So he's actually chanting Rama, 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 right? So he's sitting there. And he's sitting for such a long time and chanting the divine name, the divine Taraka mantra, that an anthill forms on top of him. And when he emerges from that anthill, he emerges a Maharishi. And anthill is called Valmikam in Sanskrit. That is why he is called Valmiki Maharshi. That is how Valmiki Bhagavan takes his form. Now if we notice here, Valmiki Bhagavan did a tapas here, right? But he had no obstacles. When Vishwamitra did tapas, both of them became Maharshis in the end. But when Vishwamitra did tapas, he first had Ramba, Menaka, Trishanku, so many obstacles. But here no Ramba, no Menaka, no Trishanku, no obstacles. Right? The reason is Vishwamitra relied on his own strength and his own tapas. But here it is Guru Kripa and Rama Nama that is protecting Valmiki Bhagavan. In fact, Rama Nama is called Taraka Mantram. The definition of mantram is Mananat Trayate iti mantraha. As in, if we keep saying the mantra, Trayate means protects. It will protect us. So this Rama Nama that he got from Guru Kripa, that protected him as a shield. And he emerged as Valmiki Bhagavan. So now, as he emerges as Valmiki Bhagavan, his heart is full of Ramanama, Rama's divine gunas, and at times he even sees Ramachandra Prabhu's murti. As Kabir Das ji says in a song, Guru Kripanjan payo mere bhai, Rama bina kachu dekat nahi, अंतर राम बाहर राम जहाँ देखूं वहाँ और नहीं काम गुरु कृपांजन पायो मेरे भाई राम बिना कछु देखत नाही. He says, I have applied a kajal called Guru Kripa, and that kajal, because of that Guru Kripa, everywhere I see, I only see Ramachandra Prabhu. While sleeping, while being awake, in my dreams, everywhere I see it's only Ramachandra Prabhu. So here, Valmiki Bhagavan is having that divine restlessness. So again, Narada Maharshi visits Valmiki Bhagavan's ashram. It is said that a guru will always have two important visits with his shishyas. The first important visit is to uplift that shishya and make that shishya a Mahatma. And the second important visit is using that shishya, he will uplift many more. So there is something called Sparsha Vedi. It is a special stone. And if we touch that stone to an iron, the iron will become gold. But if we use this turned gold and touch another iron, that iron will still remain an iron only. We again need the original Sparsha Vedi for that. But a guru is far more superior towards Sparsha Vedi. A guru will make all of his shishyas Mahatmas. And through those shishyas, he will make many, many more Mahatmas. So here, Narada Maharshi's plan is to uplift the entire world by giving them Shri Ramayanam through Valmiki Bhagavan. So now, again, Narada Maharshi comes to visit Valmiki Bhagavan. And they're both sitting opposite each other. And Valmiki Bhagavan asks a beautiful question. Tapasvadhyaya niratam tapasvi vakvitambaram naradam paripapracha Valmikir muni pungavam. The very first syllable of Shri, this is the first sloka of Ramayana. So the first syllable is the syllable ta. Valmiki Bhagavan must be fond of this syllable ta, because he starts all important parts with this syllable. Even Sundaragandam's first slokam starts with Tato Ravana Nitayaha Sitaya Shatru Karshanaha Yesha Padaman Vishtum Charana Charite Pati. It starts with ta. Similarly, even the part of Rama Jananam starts with ta. And there is actually a reason. In Sanskrit, all of the letters have some meaningful implication attached to it. And what ta implies is removing all inauspiciousness and bringing all auspiciousness or mangalam. So that is the first syllable. And the first letter, the first word of Shri Ramayana is the word tapaha. So actually, if we look at it, even Srimad Bhagavatam starts with tapaha. Because the origin of Srimad Bhagavatam is Bhagavan Vishnu's telepathic words, manasika words to Brahma. And from that, Brahmaji tells Chatushloki Bhagavatam. And from that, he tells it to Surya Bhagavan Narada. Narada tells it to Vyasa Bhagavan, and he gives us Srimad Bhagavatam. And what actually Bhagavan tells Brahma through telepathy is the two syllables ta, pa. So the origin of Srimad Bhagavatam is also the word tapaha. And here, Valmiki Bhagavan, he is asking a beautiful question to Narada Maharshi. Konvasmin sapratam loke gunavan kasya viryavan dharmagnyasya kritagnyasya satyavakyo dadavrataha charitrena cha koyuktaha sarvabhuteshu kohitaha विद्वान् कः समर्थश्च कश्चैकप्रियदर्शनः आत्मवान् वोचितक्रोधो द्युतिमान् को न सूयकः कस्य बिभ्यति देवाश्च जातरोषस्य संयुगे. So he's asking a question. He's getting all these divine gunas in his heart. So he wants to know if someone fits into all of this. So the first thing that he asks is, Konvas means Sampratam Loke. He lists 16 gunas and he says, I want someone who will fit into all of this in this world right now. I want a contemporary in Sampratam Loke. So don't tell me long ago there was someone, or don't point at Vaikuntapati and tell me that's him. I want someone right now. As in, if I go knock on that door, they should open it and say welcome. I want someone like that. And he starts listing the 16 divine gunas. The first one is Gunavan, a beautiful character. That's what Gunavan means. And actually, Ramachandra Prabhu is a bhushanam for gunas. It is not the other way around. It is not because of the gunas that he is beautiful. The gunas gain beauty by being on Ramachandra Prabhu. That is the kind of gunavan that he is. An example is in Aranya Kandam, when Ramachandra Prabhu repeatedly told Lakshmana Alvar to not leave Sita Mata alone. But it so happened that Lakshmana Alvar had to leave. And because of that, Sita Mata was abducted by Ravanan. Now, had someone done something like that for us, we will keep bringing it up. Will be that day you did this, that day you did this. We'll keep bringing it up. Ramachandra Prabhu told him once, only once. He asked him, Lakshmana, I told you, why did you leave? That is all. Later he keeps crying for Sita Mata, asks Godavari if she's seen Sita Mata, asks all the trees and everything. But never again does he tell Lakshmana, it is your fault that this happened. No, not once. That is why Gunavan. And similarly, when Kaikeyi tells him that he has to leave for the forest now. Now imagine someone is saying you're going to be coronated. And later they're calling you and saying, no coronation for you. You should go live in the forest for 14 years. Then, how Ramachandra Prabhu's conduct was, in Vishnu Sahasranamam, there is one name called Sumukhaya Namaha. So here, Bhagavad Padal does Bhashyam for all of Bhagavan's names. And here for Sumukhaya Namaha, he says all you need to know is the expression on Prabhu's face when Kaikeyi said you have to leave for the forest. So that means Prabhu was actually smiling. That is what we mean by Gunavan. And later, Viryavan, he should be brave. Then Dharmagnaha, he should not only know Dharma but follow it. In Aranya Kandam, Ramachandra Prabhu is described beautifully as Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha. If dharmas had a form, that would be Ramachandra Prabhu. But what is actually shocking here is, you know who describes him like this? It is not Dasharatha or Kausalya Mata or Lakshmana Alvar or Sita Devi. It is not even any of the rishis. It is Marichan who calls him Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha. So imagine who is Marichan, a Rakshasa who is going to later deceive Ramachandra Prabhu, Sita Mata and Lakshmana Alvar by coming in the form of a golden deer. If someone as low as that can see Prabhu's dharmas, then how much dharma should Prabhu radiate? Right? That is why Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha. And then not only that, when Kaikeyi is asking for the two boons, that Bharata should be the king and Rama should go to forest, will she dare to ask such a boon if she doesn't have 100% belief that Ramachandra Prabhu is a Dharmatma? Right? If she thought Ramachandra Prabhu was like Kamsan, Kamsan jails his own parents and proclaims himself as the king. So if he's afraid that Ramachandra Prabhu would just kill Dasharatha or Bharata Alvar and proclaim himself king, would she even dare ask this, right? And later when she tells him, Dasharatha actually couldn't bring himself to tell you have to leave for the forest. It is Kaikeyi who says, it is your father's will that Bharata Alvar be crowned and you should leave for forest. What Prabhu says there is, you don't even have to say, it is my father's will. I will leave even if you say you want me to go. That is the level of Dharmatma that he is. And the final proof is, later in the last part, in Yuddha Kandam, when Lakshmana Alvar kills Ravana's son Indrajit, Indrajit is a Mayavi. So he takes many forms and stands in front of Lakshmana Alvar. So when Lakshmana hits the real Indrajit, only then he will die. So before he fires the arrow, what Lakshman Alvar says is, if my brother Ramachandra Prabhu was a Dharmatma in all three columns, in present, past and future, then let this arrow go hit the son of Ravana, Indrajit. And the arrow went and hit the real Indrajit. So the fact that Ramachandra Prabhu was a Dharmatma was like a mantra. It was that true. That is the level of Dharmatma that he was. Dharmatma Gunavan. In Kritagnaha, he knew gratitude. Satyavakyo, he spoke only the truth. And Dhridavrataha, if he says that he will do something, he will follow through. That he will stay true to his words. Before he left for the forest, he took an oath. He made a promise that for 14 years I will not step inside another city. Sugrivan calls him. Vibhishanarvar calls him. And technically, Kishkinda and Lanka belong to Ramachandra Prabhu. That he was the one who killed Vali and he was the one who killed Ravana. So both of them by right belong to Ramachandra Prabhu. And still he does not enter both of them. That is what is Dhridavrataha. And then Charitrenacha Koyuktaha. We saw all of these gunas, right? Now these gunas should not be self-proclaimed. It should shine from his charitram. And clearly it is. Right? If we actually look at Valmiki Ramayana, Ramachandra Prabhu lived here for 11,000 years. But he focuses specifically on those 14,000 years that he was in the forest. Because anybody can be a good person when they are living in a luxurious life, right? But only when they are faced with true hardships, only then comes the real test. And not only that, Valmiki Bhagavan wanted to highlight the sacrifices that Ramachandra Prabhu made. That is why the main focus of our Ramayanam is on the 14,000 years. And later, Sarva Bhuteshu Kohitaha. He should be loving to all life forms. As we can see in Yuddhagandam, a small squirrel, Prabhu was so happy with its Kainkaryam, he takes the tiny squirrel, puts it on his divine lap, pampers the squirrel, massages its little fingers, caresses its body. Right? Sarva Bhuteshu Kohitaha. Vidwan, he should be knowledgeable. Samarthaha, he should be smart. And then Kaschaika Priyadarshanaha. The more we see him, more love should come. Right? Actually, in English, there's a saying, familiarity builds contempt. If we keep seeing the same person again and again, we will get tired of them. Right? But Ramachandra Prabhu is not like that. If we keep seeing him, our love for him will keep on increasing. Hanumanji says, Ramachandra Prabhu actually has a small fault. He has no faults, but if one should say that he had a fault, it would be this. It is, if you look at Ramachandra Prabhu, you won't be able to look at anyone else because he is that beautiful. So, Kaschaika Priyadarshanaha. And then Atmavan, in control of his senses, a true jnani. He knows his true self. Jitakrodaha. He says he should have won over anger. We should look at this very carefully. He doesn't say he doesn't have anger. He says he controls anger instead of letting anger control him. Because later he is going to say, Kasya Bibhyati Devascha. When he does get angry, even Devas tremble. So here Jita Krodaha, he should have won over anger. And then Dyutiman, his face has that brilliance, that tejas. It is not that beauty that accrues to the flesh, but rather that brilliance that comes from tapas. The face will glow because of that tapas. So he has that Dyutiman. Anasuyakaha, he shouldn't have any jealousy. And then Pasya Bibhyati Devascha, when he gets angry, even all people in all lokas should shiver. Actually, while describing Ramachandra Prabhu, it is said he has Kalagni Sadrishaha Krodaha Kshamaya Prithvi Sama. When he gets angry, his anger is like Pralayagni. But his patience is like Bhuma Devi. If we look at this, it is actually polar opposite qualities. And by saying both of these accrue to Prabhu, we should understand that Ramachandra Prabhu is beyond all of these qualities. He picks which guna should be used at what time and he takes them. That is why he is a Bhushanam for gunas, not the other way around. And then because later, when he does get angry, in Yuddhagandam, Ramachandra Prabhu has to cross the ocean to go to Lanka. Right? And then Vibhishana suggests Sharanagati because it worked very well for him. So he suggested that Ramachandra Prabhu do Sharanagati to Samudra Rajan. And Prabhu patiently does Sharanagati for 3 days. He doesn't eat, he doesn't sleep, he stays in the same way for Sharanagati. And Samudrajan doesn't come. So Prabhu gets livid and he says, Lakshmana, bring my bow and arrow. And Lakshmana could sense the anger that Prabhu had, that he first bring a toy bow, it seems. And Prabhu says, what is this? Bring me my kodandam. And he brings the kodandam alone without the arrows. He says, hey, bring my arrows also. And he takes it and he threatens to use Brahmastram and dry every droplet of water in the ocean. That is how angry he gets. And then seeing that, Samudrarajan immediately comes and falls at the feet of Prabhu. So that is what Valmiki Bhagavan means by Kasya Bibhyati Devascha. Also, when we go stand in front of Perumal, you will have one small guilt inside. Because we know deep down that he knows everything. So we will be thinking, does he know all of the sins that we make? And we are even more scared that he will tell everyone the sins that we made. Now imagine if we go see Perumal and he says, hi, how are you? From next day, we won't go to the temple only. If Perumal speaks, we will get scared. Because we know what kind of person we are, right? But when Ramachandra Prabhu goes and stands in front of any deity, the deity will get scared, it seems. Because that is the level of Dharmatma and Gunavan that he was. So he lists all of these gunas, and Valmiki Bhagavan says, Etadichhamyaham shrotum param kautuhalam hi me maharshetvam samartosi nyatum evam vidham naram. He very specifically says, naram. I want a human like this. Actually, if we look at other Ramayanas like Ramcharitamanas or Kamba Ramayanam, they clearly call Ramachandra Prabhu Bhagavan. But Valmiki wanted to highlight the fact that Prabhu actually took a form of a human being. And actually, he doesn't proclaim the fact that Prabhu is Bhagavan. Till the end, he maintains, as Prabhu does, Atmanam Manusham Manye Ramam Dasharatatmajam. So he asks this beautiful question, and Narada Maharshi is overjoyed. Because a Shishya correctly knows what to ask to make the Guru happy. Right? If we look at all of our great scriptures, it has all come from some beautiful question. We get Bhagavatam because first Vyasa Bhagavan asks Narada a few questions. And then Parikshit asks Shuka Bhagavan a few questions. And Suta Maharshi hears that entire conversation. So later when Saunaka Maharshigal asks him a beautiful question, he happily tells Srimad Bhagavatam. Even in Srimad Bhagavatam, secretly now, Shuka Maharshi is in the mood to say Narasimha Charitram. So correctly when Parikshit asks Samaha Priyaha Suhrit Brahman, he very happily starts talking about Narasimha Bhagavan, Prahlada Charitram. So here, Narada Maharshi is thrilled because he is now here to talk to Valmiki Bhagavan about Ramayana only. And he says, you've asked if someone fits into all of these qualities. I have someone who has these qualities and more. And he goes on to list 64 gunas. And later says, that is still not I have still not listed all of them. Gunas in Shri Ramachandra Prabhu are like pearls in ocean. They keep coming up. We can't count how many are there. And he says later, if you're reading something else and you look at one nice guna that you have not asked before, and if you come and look at Shri Ramayana, it will be there in Ramachandra Prabhu. And he goes on to list 64. You asked for 16, I will give 64. Narada Maharshi lists 64 gunas. Mridubhashi, a few of them are Mridubhashi. Prabhu speaks very sweetly. Right? When he goes to visit Shabari is a very old lady. Her teeth have fallen out. Her cheeks are shrunken in. And he calls her Charubashi. He says, you speak very sweetly, very beautifully. And then Prabhu is a Purva Bhashi. Now, if we look at someone, we will always expect them to come approach us, right? But Prabhu is not like that. He will first go talk to someone. And then, Rakshita Swasya Dharmasya Swajanasya Cha Rakshita. He first protects his own dharma. And by staying in dharma, he makes everyone around him also protect their own dharma. Right? Because when Ramachandra Prabhu has to go to the forest, Lakshmana starts jumping. He says, why should you go to the forest? I will jail Dasharatha. You become king. Right? He says it, but he doesn't do it. Because he knows Ramachandra Prabhu is the Dharmatma. Similarly, even Kausalya Mata says, I will leave Dasharatha. I will come with you to the forest. And Prabhu says, no, you should follow your dharma. So Prabhu not only follows his own dharma to the maximum extent, but he also makes sure everybody around him follow their own dharma. And Ramachandra Prabhu, Narada Maharshi describes him as a sadhu or a gentleman. Our Guru Maharaj would say that is the highest compliment that we can give someone. Gentleman, or the feminine equivalent will be, I don't know, lady or gentlewoman or something. Ramachandra Prabhu is a sadhu, and because of that, all sadhus would rush to him like rivers to an ocean. Because ocean is the destination for rivers. Similarly, if someone is a sadhu, their destination is Ramachandra Prabhu. And it is the ocean is always described as the pati for the rivers. Similarly, the pati for all the sadhus is Ramachandra Prabhu. And the destiny of all rivers is to go to the ocean, right? So similarly, one is a sadhu, his destiny automatically is to attain the lotus feet of Ramachandra Prabhu. Now he describes all of this, and he describes Prabhu as Snigdha Varnam. Snigdha Varnam, what it means is dark complexion. But the way it is described is, if you look at Prabhu's complexion, you will immediately feel that closeness or that warmth in your heart. He describes him as Snigdha Varnam. So after this beautiful conversation of Ramachandra Prabhu, Narada Maharshi, in 100 slokas, he gives one brief Ramayana to Valmiki Bhagavan, urges him to write it, and he leaves. So now Valmiki Bhagavan's heart is full of Ramachandra Prabhu. He's feeling very nice. So he calls his Shishyan Bharadwajan and he says, Bharadwaja, come, let us go to Tamasa river. So he's walking on the river banks of river Tamasa. And as he's walking, he's enjoying the scenic view around him. He's saying, look how beautiful the river is. It is as sparkling and clean as a pure sadhu's heart. And he's enjoying the view around him. Actually, the first thing we need for bhakti, it is described, is a Kavi Hridayam. Even Srimad Bhagavatam says, if you want to learn all of this, you don't have to be a Sanskrit Pandit, you don't have to have Nya, you don't have to have anything. Only thing that you need to have is Rasikaha Bhuvi Bhavukaha. You should know to enjoy and relish everything around you. So here, Valmiki Bhagavan is enjoying the scenery, the trees and everything around him. Madhavika Parimala Militena Malikayati Sugandho Muni Manasamapi Mohanakarini Taruna Karanavandho Radhe Viharati Haririha. The Vasanta Ritu is described as Muni Manasam api Mohanakarini. It is taking the hearts of even Munis. So here, Valmiki Bhagavan as a Muni, he is relishing all these views. And there he sees one Tamala Vriksham, a Tamala tree. And atop that are sitting two Krauncha Pakshis, two birds. And they're happily making all kila kila pila pila sounds. It is said that birds, when they are together with their partner, they will make this kila kila pila pila sound. And when they are away from them and when they are in Viraham, they will make this coo coo sound. So here, because they are together, they are all enjoying and making all kila kila pila pila sound. And correctly at that time, some hunter nearby, he fires an arrow and kills the male bird. And the male bird falls down dead. And this female bird, it keeps twittering around the male bird saying coo, coo. And this scene stirs something in Valmiki's heart, Valmiki Bhagavan's heart. So he immediately turns to that hunter. And in anger, he says one sloka. The Mahans say that his shoka became a shloka. So in his anger, he's saying a perfect sloka. Ma nishada pratishtatvam agama shashvati samaha yat krauncha mithuna devam avadi kama mohitam. This is the first ever shloka to exist. Right? Ramayana is the Adi Kavyam. Until then, we only had Vedas and all Vedantas. The first Kavyam was Shri Ramayana. And this is the first slokam. Now Valmiki Bhagavan is very shocked. Because first he was shocked that he was angry, but more than that, he was shocked that because he himself was a hunter, right? But now his pure heart couldn't handle this scene. That shows how much Guru Kripa and Ramanama changed him. And now not only that, in his anger, he has given a beautiful shloka. It is in perfect Anushtup Chandas with 4 parts, 4 padams. Now it is very shocking because when we are angry, we can't even talk properly. We will just shout a few words that we know. Who will sing when they are angry? But here he is giving a perfect poem. And he is very shocked. Now what this poem, if we take it as is, what it means is, Ma means no. Nishada means hunter. So Ma Nishada Pratishthantvam Agama Shashwati Samaha means you hunter, you will not live very long. Because when these two crownchaw birds, when they were happy and together, you killed them. You killed one and you made the other one suffer. So you will not live very long. And he is very surprised that he gave this sloka. And he comes back to his ashram, and there he finds Brahmaji waiting for him. Now, so many asuras, they stand in one leg. They do so many efforts. They put so much efforts to have darshan of Brahmaji. Now here Brahmaji is walking uninvited to Valmiki Bhagavan's ashram. He says, "Don't worry. I first sent my son, and I later sent my Devi Saraswati, and now I have come. This whole family is coming together for Shri Ramayana." Actually, the Falastuti of Shri Ramayana itself is Kutumba Vriddham, Dhanadanya Vriddham. The Falastuti is that families will come together in harmony. So even before that, Brahmaji's family is coming together because first he sends his son Narada Maharshi, right? So the family is coming together to give us Ramayana. So Brahmaji says, "Don't worry. It was because of Saraswati Devi in your tongue you could tell the sloka like this." Now there is one small thing, right? How can the first ever sloka to exist, how can it be a curse? So if we do the Anvayam properly, instead of taking Ma and Nishada as separate words, if we club Ma Nishada, Ma accrues to Mahalakshmi. So Ma Nishada actually means Malolan or Srinivasa Perumal. So Ma Nishada Pratishtantvam Agama Shashwati Samaha means, oh Srinivasa Perumal, you will live very long. And Krauncha is another word for Rakshasa. So the two Kraunchas here are Mandodari and Ravanan. So, O Ramachandra Prabhu, who slayed Ravana, you will get Kirti and you will shine for a very long time. That is what it means. So, the first ever shloka to exist, what it actually means is Pallandu Pallandu Pallairattandu Palakoti Noorairam Mallandu Tintol Manivanna is what the slokam actually means. And later, Brahmaji says, Machanda Tevate Brahman Pravritteyam Saraswati Ramasya Charitam Kritsnam Kurutvam Rishisattama. He says it is because of Saraswati's grace you could tell the shloka, and she is blessing you because we want you to write Shri Ramayana. And because the prayojanam of knowing anything is to dedicate it to Bhagavan, right? If we can sing very well, we should sing in front of Krishna and sing for him. If we dance very well, we should dance for him. So similarly, the skill that you have, you should use it to write Shri Ramayana. And later he gives them a stamp of approval. He says, Tachapi aviditam sarvam viditam te bhavishyati nate vak andrita kavye kachi tatra bhavishyati. He says, Viditam te bhavishyati. Whatever you write will be the truth. Or rather, only the truth will come when you write. So actually, Valmiki Bhagavan, Brahmaji gave him the blessing. He could see the entire Ramayana like a live telecast. And in that state, he writes Ramayana. Right, because Valmiki Bhagavan didn't have, Ramachandra Prabhu was there in Ayodhya only at that time. He didn't have to go interview Prabhu, what was your experience in 14 years in forest. He didn't have to ask anything like that because he could see everything. And actually, Mahant say, he actually went into that Samadhi state to write Sri Ramayana. Right, because kavyams like this, one cannot just rely on Sanskrit knowledge. Sanskrit knowledge is not even required to write all of this because Bhagavan's grace will bring all of that. What is actually needed is Bhagavan's grace. Right? For example, in Adi Shankara Bhagavad Padal Charitram, he had a Shishyan called Giri, and he was considered a little dumb compared to the other Shishyas. So one day, Bhagavad Padal had to was just sitting to start his lesson, and Giri had not yet come. So the other Shishya said, "Why wait for him? He is not going to understand anything anyway. You start teaching for us." And at that time, Bhagavad Padal feels this overwhelming karuna for Giri. So when Giri comes running, all Bhagavad Padal does is look at him with grace, look at him with karuna. And with that grace itself, Giri starts singing, Vidita Khila Shastra Sudha Jalade Mahitopanishad Katitartanide Hridaye Kalaye Vimalam Sharanam Bhava Shankar Deshikame Sharanam Karuna Varunalaya Palaya Bhavasagar Duka Vidunardam Rachaya Kila Darshana Tattvavidam Bhava Shankara Deshikame Sharanam. He tells an Ashtakam in perfect Totakam. That is, the Totakam is the symmetry in the words. And because of that, he's named Totakacharya, because he told it perfectly in that rhythm. So here, what is actually needed is grace. And Brahmaji blesses him saying, Yavatsta Siddhi Girayaha Saritascha Mahitale Tavad Ramayana Kata Lokeshu Pracharishyati. He blesses him saying, as long as there are mountains, as long as there are rivers, as long as the sun and moon shine, Ramayana will shine in this earth. And that's a huge blessing for us, right? Because our Guru Maharaj would say, when Bhagavan comes as Vibhavavataram, when it is raining, it is only people present when it is raining who enjoy the rain, right? So when Bhagavan came as Ramachandra Prabhu, then only all the Ayodhya people, Kishkinda Vanaras enjoyed. When Prabhu came as Krishna, then all the Gopas, Gopikas, Mathura Vasis, Dwaraka Vasis, they all enjoyed. But what should one do when it rains? One should actually preserve that water in a reservoir or in a dam, and later provide water for people who come later, right? So what these Mahants and Avatara Purushas do with their abundant graces, they write Srimad Bhagavatam, Shri Ramayanam. They, like one reservoir, they collect all of Bhagavan's stories and they give it for people later who were not present then. So it was through his grace that we get Ramayana right now. So when Valmiki Bhagavan starts writing, Tadupakata Samasa Sandhiyogam Samamadhuropanatartha Vakyabadham Raghuvara Charitam Muni Pranitam Dashashirashashavadam Nishamayadhvam. When he starts writing, all of the Sanskrit Alankaram, Samasam, Sandhi, all of them come and line up, it seems. Because they want to be used to describe Ramachandra Prabhu. They say the very reason of our existence is to describe Prabhu. And they all line up. And automatically they all come in Sri Ramayana. So Valmiki Bhagavan beautifully writes Sri Ramayana. So after writing it, actually he is in a divine trance. The proof is in the very first slokam, he says, Tapasvadhyaya niritam tapasvi vakvitambaram Narada paripapracha Valmikir Muni Pungavam. He is the one who is asking Narada Maharshi, right? He didn't say Aham. He doesn't say I am asking. He says Valmiki is asking. So in the state that he is writing, he doesn't even remember that he is Valmiki. That is the divine trance that he is in. So after writing Ramayana, he now wonders who should go do pracharam or pravachanam for this. Who should go propagate Ramayanam to the whole world. And correctly at that time, Kushilavau tu dharmagnyau Rajaputrau yashasvinau Bhratarau swarasampannau Dadarshashramavasinau. Two beautiful children, Lava and Kusha, none other than the children of Ramachandra Prabhu himself, who were born and brought up in Valmiki Bhagavan's ashram. Correctly at that time, they come do namaskaram for Valmiki Bhagavan and sit next to him. And he thinks they are the perfect people to do this. Satau medhavinau drishtva Vedeshu parinishthitau Vedopabhrahmanarthaya Tau agrahata Prabhu. They are medhavis. Medhavi means they will grasp very quickly. So quickly he teaches the whole of Ramayanam till Yuddhagandam. And Swara Sampano, they sing very well. So he teaches them like a musical. So the first musical to exist is also Sri Ramayana. And he tells them, now you know the whole, now you whatever you know, you go tell it everywhere. And later, if the king calls you to tell in halls, don't feel shy, you go tell there also. So they go village by village, town by town, singing Ramayana beautifully. So when they first start with villages and in ashramas, all these rishis, when they hear these two beautiful children singing so mesmerizingly, they get putra vatsalyam looking at them. And when they're all shaking their heads and singing, their kudumis, it comes loose. So this one rishi, he immediately runs, brings a twig and he says, you use this to tie your hair as a rubber band. One other rishi, he gives them kamandalam. One other rishi gives them a bag to put all their things in. One rishi gives them clothes. And all of the rishis lift both of their hands and say, Koyandigala, you should be very happy and live for a long time. So with all of these rishis anugrahams, these children go to town. Then they finally reach Ayodhya. Ayodhya is a huge city. So if some event has to happen in a hall in Ayodhya, has to be presided over by some chief guest. So when they first approach the hall manager, the manager says, I need some chief guest to preside over the event. Incidentally, at that time, Sumantra is walking by. Sumantra was actually a minister in Dasharatha Maharaja's court itself. He's older to Dasharatha Maharaja. And now he is with Ramachandra Prabhu. The hall manager calls him. And Sumantra says, I'm actually very busy. So the first day I will sit for 10 minutes and later you take care. That is the plan. He comes thinking he will sit for 10 minutes and he ends up staying the whole 9 days listening to them. And he immediately calls Shatrughna to come listen. So Shatrughna Alvar hears this Ramayana Ganam. Bharat Alvar listens to this Ganam. Lakshmana Alvar listens to this Ganam. So everybody has heard except Ramachandra Prabhu. And it is all of their wish that Ramachandra Prabhu listens to this Ganam. But they don't know how to tell it to Prabhu. Because at that time, Sita Mata was not there. So he was actually Samudra Iva Gambhiryaha. He was in a very stoic, Gambiram mood. He would come from his room to the court. He would make sure all the court proceedings went well. And later, he would go to his room and close the door. Behind the door, he would cry for Sita Mata, but he wouldn't show that to the world. So now in the mood that he was in, they didn't know how to approach Prabhu and start this conversation. So one day, it so happened that when Prabhu and Bharatarvar were walking in their balcony, Prabhu hears this faint, beautiful singing. And when he listens a little more keenly, he realizes it is actually Ramayana Ganam that is happening. And then when he asks what is going on, Bharatarvar says, oh, actually I was wanting to tell you about this. These two beautiful children, they are telling our story beautifully. They're singing it so well. And then he says, these two kids, you should look at them. When I see them, when I see their lotus-like eyes, when I see their broad shoulders, when I see their agandra netri, they look just like you. But when I look at the sweetness in their eyes and the sweetness in their voice, it actually reminds me of Sita Mani. And he says, you should definitely listen to them singing. First, Prabhu is a little hesitant. Gunavan, right? He won't sit and listen to his own greatness. But later he realizes he himself doesn't know Ramayana fully. Right? Because when Prabhu was in Aranyam, when he was in forest, he doesn't know what happened in Ayodhya. Similarly, when Ravana took Sita, he doesn't know what happened when Hanumanji went to Lanka. He doesn't know that side of the story either. And also, Prabhu wanted to sit and melt at all of the sacrifices other people had made for him. So finally, he agrees and he says, he was doing an Ashwamedha Yagam then. So he arranges for these children to present Ramayanam during the Virama Kalam of that Ashwamedham. And at that time, he arranges for it to happen and they both approach the stage. Tautu Gandharva Tattvajñau Sthanamurchanato Vidau Dhratarau Swarasampannau Gandharvaiva Bhushan Gandharvaiva Rupinau Rupa Lakshana Sampannau Madhura Swarabhashinau Bimbativa Uttitau Bimbau Ramadehat Tataparo. The two children, they look beautiful, they look like Gandharvas. Actually, we don't need to do any description. Because finally they say, Bimbativa Uttitau Bimbau. It was as though Ramachandra Prabhu went and stood in front of two mirrors. If we have to go buy some clothes, they will keep two mirrors like that, right, for us to admire ourselves from all angles. So if Prabhu went and stood in front of two mirrors and he looked at his two reflections and he said, Va, and he said, come. And those two reflections became little and followed him. That is how Lava and Kusha looked like. And they Swara Sampanna, they were all Swara Sampanna. They had a good ear, they were singing beautifully, and they had good ear for music also. They knew all the ragams very well because they should present it properly. Right? For example, Rama Jananam, they should present it in a happy ragam. They can't present it in Ahiri. They can't go Prodhyamane Jagannatham. They can't sing it like that. Similarly, Ramachandra Prabhu going to forest, it's a very serious tone there, right? They can't sing it in some jolly ragam like Ananda Bhairavi. So they need to have some ragam sense, and they had beautiful ragam sense and a beautiful voice. So obtaining a permission from Prabhu, they started singing. Prabhu was actually first sitting in one throne in the last highest part of the arena. So after some time when people turned and looked, he was 2 steps down. Then after that, 2 steps down. And slowly, Sachapi Ramaha Parishad Gataha Shanaihi. Slowly, finally, he's sitting like this in front of both of them and listening to them. And actually, by doing that, he reveals that he is Bhagavan. Because it's Bhagavan's nature to do that. Bhagavan himself says, Na hambasami vaikunte, na yogi hridaye ravo, madbhakta yatra gayanti, tatra tishtami narada. It's Bhagavan's nature to be drawn to places where people do his kirtan. Tukaramji in Abang, he says, one day he couldn't sleep, it seems. So because he couldn't sleep, he thought, let me chant his name. And he kept saying, Vithala, 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 Vithala. It suddenly felt as though someone was sitting in the bed next to him, shaking like this. And when he opened his eyes, it was Vithalan. So, okay, Vithala, you are here. So Tukaram Maharaj sat up. And when he sat and did kirtan, Vithala stood up. So because Vithala stood up, Tukaram also stood up and started doing kirtan. And Vithala started jumping and running around. So it is Bhagavan's nature to rush to people who do kirtan. But here Bhagavan was very careful to do it Shanaihi. Because if he got up suddenly, if he is Raja, right, everybody will get up and the children will get disturbed, right? He does it Shanaihi. Because he didn't want to be like his Kuladaivam. His Kuladaivam is none other than our Ranganatha Swami. And Ranganatha has one fond nickname that people give him in Srirangam, which is Kalakshepa Shatru. He is enemy for Kalakshepam, it seems. Because correctly when sadhus join together and they will start talking about his greatness, Pachai Mamali Polmeni, Pavaravai Kamalashingan. So if they group together, they will talk about him only. But when they're happily relishing his name, his gunas, the pasurams that people have written on him, correctly done, Prabhu will leave for Utsavams. So all this, they'll have to break up their meeting to listen, to go look at Ranganatha, right? So that is why he's called Kalakshepa Shatru. He doesn't allow anybody to sit at peace and talk about him because he keeps leaving for Utsavams. And Ramachandra Prabhu didn't want to be like that. So Shanihi, he comes and he's sitting right next to them and listening. And later, after they finish, he says, this Ramayana Katha has brought me Sukham. So Ramayana Katha not only brings us happiness, it even brings Prabhu happiness. Because later, after this, Valmiki Bhagavan actually brings Sita Mata to that Naimisharanya and unites Ramachandra Prabhu and Sita Mata. So again, it is Ramayanam that makes that happen. Because even in the first case, in Sundaragandam, when Hanumanji has to pacify Sita Mata, he actually tells her Ramayana Katha. So it is Ramayana Katha that brings Bhagavan himself happiness. And in fact, the Palastuti, it says, Balam Vishnoho Pravartatam. More and more we do Parayanam of Shri Ramayanam, Bhagavan's power increases. Now, Bhagavan is Anantan, right? Now, how can we say his power increases? What they actually mean is his Kripa Balam increases. So, for example, someone has a very grave disease and he sits and does Sundaraganda Parayanam. And his disease immediately it abates and it goes. So the fact that he had to get that disease was his prarabdham, his karma. But when he told Sundaragandam that Kripa Balam overtook the Balam of this prarabdham and nullified that, right? As Andal Pirati says, Poyapiriyum Puguttaruva Nindanavum, Teenil Tusakum Seppelur Empavai. All of our prarabdham, Sanchitam, Magami, all of our karma, that karma balam will be overtaken by Bhagavan's Kripa Balam, and all of this will go burn in fire, is what Andal Pirati says. So here Balam Vishnoho Pravartadam means Bhagavan's Kripa Balam towards us will grow. So these two children, they beautifully start narrating Ramayana. They start with a Varnana of Ayodhya. Kosala Nama Muditaha Spito Janapado Mahan Nivishta Surya Sarayu Tire Prabhuta Danavdanyavan Ayodhya Nama Nagari Tatrasi Loka Vishruta Manuna Manavendrena Yapuri Nirmita Swayam. Ayodhya means invincible, or the city that hasn't seen war. And that both mean the same because nobody has even tried to attack Ayodhya. And here, Valmiki Bhagavan says it is like Indra's Amaravati. But actually, it is much more than that. Right? Vedas actually describe Vaikuntham as Ayodhya. Ayodhya means nobody has tried to fight with it. Right? If you look at Amaravati, Mahabali has taken over. Right? Every lokam has been attacked except Shri Vaikuntham. There is no story that says this Asura went and he attacked Shri Vaikuntham. There is no story like that. Similarly, there is no story that says Ayodhya was attacked. In fact, when Indra is attacked, it is Dasharatha Maharaja who goes and helps him. That is how Ayodhya was. And Kosala means a town filled with a place full of peacocks. So what Kosala actually means is Vandinam Muralum Solei, Mailinam Alum Solei, which is how Advar describes Srirangam. And it was that Sriranganathan who was sitting there during that time. Right? Actually, Sriranganathan was the Kuladevam of Ramachandra Prabhu. When Ramachandra Prabhu, actually how Sriranganathan came about was when Brahmaji went to Shri Vaikuntham, he said, Prabhu, you look very nice right now. So I want to look at you like this all the time because you look very beautiful. And that's when Bhagavan becomes Ranganathan. And Brahmaji keeps Ranganathan with him in Tapoloka. And when Ramachandra Prabhu's ancestor goes there, he says, this Ranganathan looks very nice. When I look at him itself, bhakti springs from my heart. So I would like to take him with me. And that is how Prabhu comes to Ayodhya. And later, Ramachandra Prabhu gives Ranganathan to Vibhishana. And Vibhishana on the way back, he stops at Srirangam, and that is where Prabhu is there right now. So the Sriranganathar was there in Kosala during this time. And then they are describing the people of Ayodhya. Na Kundali na Mukuti, na Sragvena Alpa Bhogavan, na Mrishto, na Aliptango, na Sugandaha cha Vidyate. This palace is at the heart of the city. But it's very hard to locate the palace, it seems. Because every house looks like a palace. Everybody is wearing crowns. Everybody is wearing diamond earrings. Everybody is wearing nice clothes. Everybody is wearing luxury perfumes. And na Alpa Bhogavan. If you went to someone and asked, what did you have for breakfast? No one will say, I had oats kanji. They will all have one 5-course meal every time. That is how everybody was affluent. There was no haves and have-nots divide at all. Because there was no have-nots. Everybody was having everything. Everybody wanted to give charity, but there was no one to give charity to. That is how affluent this place was. And why it was like that? It was because they had a king who walked in the path of dharma. It is said that Dasharatha Maharaja, he loved his subjects like a mother. He protected them like one would protect a tapas. And in the off chance that any of them passed away, like a son, he would go do their final rites for them. That was the kind of king that he was. And he had a magnificent court to back him up. He had 8 great counselors. Drishtir Jayanto Vijayo Surashtro Rashtravardhanaha Akopo Dharmapalascha Sumantrascha Ashtamorthavit. He had 8 counselors. Actually, if we look at Ramayana, it has so much relevance to our situation right now. For example, right now, if the ruler of a state passes away, the flag of that state is to be put in half-mast. It is said in Shri Ramayana that when Dasharatha Maharaja passed away, the flag of Ayodhya was put in half-mast. Similarly, now as per Vienna Convention, if some ambassador goes to another state, even during war times, the ambassador is not to be harmed. In Shri Ramayana, when Hanumanji goes as an ambassador to Lanka, Ravana is livid, he is ready to kill him. But Vibhishana points out that he is an ambassador. And even Ravana heeds to it, saying, I will not kill him. Similarly, here he has, everywhere we touch Sri Ramayana, there is something for us to learn. So here it is said that he had 8 counselors, right? Now people actually say there are 8 types of intelligence. Visual intelligence, linguistic intelligence, logical or mathematical intelligence, interpersonal intelligence, intrapersonal intelligence, naturalistic intelligence, bodily or kinesthetic intelligence, and musical intelligence. It is said that the king should have all of this, and that is why he had 8 counselors, one for each type of intelligence. And he had 2 Purohits, Vamadevar and Vashishta. He had 3 wives, Kausalya, Sumitra, and Kaikeyi. So one day, Dasharatha Maharaja, he almost had everything. So he calls Vashishta and he says, there is no other fault. That means there is one fault, right? He says, Mama lalapya manasya suthartam nasti vai sukam. Tadartam hayamedhena yakshyami iti matir mama. He says, I don't have a baby to coddle. I don't have a baby to pamper. If we look at Kamba Ramayanam, There he says, Dasharatha Maharaja says, I want somebody to walk in the path of dharma after me. That is why I want a child. Valmiki Ramayana, he says, I want a child to just cuddle and pamper and to generally have with me. It is actually said that the biggest bliss that one can have is Brahmanandam. And next closest happiness compared to Brahmanandam is Putra Sparsham, it seems. So here, Dasharatha Maharaja just wanted a baby to be with. And he said, for that, I want to do a yagam. Now Vashishthar is very happy. He happily agrees. He says, I like that your mind is going to yagam. He says, I want to do something honorable like a yagam, right? Instead of going in some crooked path. He said, because of your nice thought, you will definitely have children. And when they're talking like this, Sumantra immediately folds his hands. That means he wants to say something. And then Dasharatha Maharaja at that time, he himself is over 60,000 years old. Sumantra is actually older than him. And his guru is none other than Sanat Kumara. So Sumantra says, actually my guru told me, there will come a time when Dasharatha Maharaja will want to do a yagam for the sake of having children. And at that time, you should ensure that this yagam is done through someone called Rishyashringar. This Rishyashringar was there in the neighboring town called Angadesha, which is a friendly town to Dasharatha. The king was called Romapada. So he said you should call him and make him do this yagam. And actually Mahan say, the reason Dasharatha Maharaja didn't have a child till now was not because he did some sin or something. It is because he was such a dharmatma, right? A dharmatma like that should only have a dharmatma son. And for someone like Dasharatha, only person being worthy of his son was Bhagavan himself. So the reason he didn't have children so far was because Bhagavan had not yet taken the sankalpam to do avataram. That is why it seems he didn't have a child so far. And other Ramayana says Vashishthar knew this, which is why he says you will definitely get a child. And parallelly, when this happens, their devas and all are going to Bhagavan, because when they do yagam, the harvest should go to devas. Only then they can give the blessings. But what happened was because of Ravana's atrocities, none of the devas could get their parts, their offerings meant for them. So along with Mahadev and Brahmaji, they both go and pray. They all go and pray to Bhagavan. And when they pray, suddenly Bhagavan appears as Neelamega Shyamalan. And Kambanat Alvar, he says, when Bhagavan comes, the Devas felt happy, like how in a hot summer day, when we see rain clouds approaching, we will be very happy, right? So that is how Devas felt when Bhagavan came. He came like a dark, rain-filled cloud. And when rain-filled clouds come, it means rain is going to pour later, right? So Bhagavan's Kripa Varsham is going to pour later. That is how Bhagavan comes. And like lightning, Lakshmi Devi is there in his heart. And Bhagavan is actually looking so bright. Devas themselves are very bright. But Bhagavan completely outshone them. And he was so bright that his Shankha Chakram looked like two sudars for the Devas. They just looked like flashes of light. They couldn't make it out because Bhagavan was so lustrous. So he came, and before Devas even told their problem, it is Bhagavan's Swabhavam to give Abhayam. So he says, Bhayam Tyajata Bhadram Vo Hitartam Yudi Ravanam Saputra Potram Samatyam Samitra Jnati Bandhavam Hatva Kruram Duradarsham Devarishina Bhayanam Dashavarsha Sahasrani Dashavarsha Shatani Cha Vatsyami Manushe Loke Palayan Prithivimimam. First dialogue of Bhagavan is Bhayam Tyajata Bhadram Vo. You all leave your fears. Don't worry, I'll take care. Actually, if you look at Ramayana, the first dialogue of Hanumanji is also Bhayam Tyajata. Actually, Sugrivan gets scared looking at Rama Lakshmana, thinking they are soldiers sent by Vali. So when he gets scared, the first dialogue of Hanumanji is also Bhayam, don't worry, leave your fears. So Hanumanji is Guru Sthanam, right? So actually it shows us the oneness between Bhagavan and Guru. So here, Bhagavan first says, Bhayam Tyajata. I will destroy the whole clan of Ravana. And Bhagavan himself adds, Dashavarsha Shatani, Dashavarsha Sahasrani Cha. I will live here for 11,000 years. And then all the Devas are very happy. And Bhagavan very innocently, as though he doesn't know anything, he asks, now how do I kill this Ravana? Actually, Bhagavan knows everything. but he has to come as a Manushya, right? A Manushya shouldn't know anything. So therefore, he starts practicing from then itself. So he asks the Devas, how do I kill this Ravana? And Devas, as though they also don't know, Bhagavan doesn't know everything, they start explaining. They say, this Ravana, he has the boon. He asked from Brahmaji that nobody can kill him except Manusha and Vanaras. Ravana had one alakshyam for Manushas. Or actually, if he had to scold someone, he would scold them saying, hey, Manusha. Like how we use a dog or buffalo or something, he will use Manusha, it seems. He had that, he considered Manusha as like ants. So he didn't even include Manusha or Vanaras in his boon. So they say, Prabhu, you should come as a Manusha so that you can kill Ravana. And Prabhu also agrees for everything. And finally, Itaram Rochayamasa Tada Dasharatham Rupam. We don't have any freedom. Right? We don't choose where to born, to whom to be born, in what family to be born, in what country to be born. None of that is in our hands. But Bhagavan is Swatantran, right? And it seems he picked Dasharatha to be his father. That should tell us what a great Mahatma Dasharatha was, right? We just saw how much a Dharmatma Gunavan Ramachandra Prabhu was. So if Dasharatha had to be his father, then we can only imagine how Dasharatha was, right? So Pitaram Rochayamasa. He picked Dasharatha to be his father. And he says, don't worry, I will come as Ramachandra Prabhu. So here, Dasharatha immediately goes and invites Rishyashringar to, we don't have time for Rishyashringar's story now, but he's a great Mahatma. So he comes and does this Putrakameshti. He does Ashwamedha Yagam, and as a part of that, Putrakameshti Yagam. And when they do that Putrakameshti Yagam, a Yajna Purusha comes. Valmiki Bhagavan actually gives a big description for this Yajna Purusha. He comes with wearing red and black clothes. His face is very bright. He's wearing, it's very red and bright. He's wearing all divine ornaments. He has a deep booming voice. And he comes with a golden jar with a silver lid. And he says, this is the divine Paisam. And Dasharatha is very careful. He goes and gives it to his wife. He's very careful. Very smartly, he doesn't drink it himself. Because in his very ancestry, there was one story where similarly, one of his ancestors, they didn't have children for a long time. So they had actually kept divine water for the king's wife to drink. But that king, he gets very thirsty and he drinks the water instead and he becomes pregnant. Now Dasharatha Maharaja knows this story. So he very carefully goes and gives it to his wife. Valmiki Ramayanam says, from that paisam, from the divine kheer, he gives half to Kausalya Mata. And from that left half, he gives half, that is 1/4, to Sumitra. And from that half, that is 1/8, he gives it to Kaikeyi. And the other, he thinks about it for some time and gives it to Sumitra. That is what Valmiki Ramayanam says. Kammanat Alvar says, he distributes the paisam to 3 of them. There was little bit left. And because Sumitra was standing closest to him, he gives it to her. And in Ramcharitmanas and Adhyatma Ramayanam, it is said that he actually gives it to Kausalya Devi and Kaikeyi. And both of them, from their parts, they give one part to Sumitra. And from the part that Kausalya Mata gave, Lakshman Alvar was born. And from the part that Kaikeyi gave, Shatrughna Alvar was born. That is how Adhyatma Ramayana and Ramcharitmanas say. So here Valmiki Bhagavan says he distributed them among his wives. And after 12 months, actually Ramachandra Prabhu did Garbhavasam for 12 months. And after 12 months, Tato Yagne Samapte tu Rutunam Shat Samatyayuhu Tatasya Dwadashe Mase Chaitre Navami Tito Nakshatre Atiti Devaitya Swaucha Samsteshu Panchasu Graheshu Karkate Lagne Vakpata Hinduna Saha Prodhyamane Jagannatham Sarvaloka Namaskritam Kausalya Janayat Protam Ramam Sarva Lakshana Samyutam Prodhyamane Jagannatham Sarvaloka Namaskritam Kausalya Janayat Ramam Sarva Lakshana Samyutam. In Shukla Paksha Navami, Budhavaram, afternoon, Punarvasu Nakshatram, Ramachandra Prabhu is born with all of his Lakshanas. It is said in Rahasyam that actually Prabhu came as Shankachakra Gadapani in his Nija Swarupa. And just like Devaki Mata, when Kausalya Mata prays for him to become a baby, and he transforms into a baby. And Kausalya Mata forgets that. Mahans say this is a rahasyam which is not mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana. So here, Prabhu is born to Kausalya Mata. It is said like Vajrapani is born to Aditi. But that is not a very fair comparison, right? Because how can we compare Indra to Bhagavan? We can compare Aditi Mata to Kausalya because she was the one who again comes as Kausalya Mata, right? But actually here what Vajrapani means is when Bhagavan is born, he comes with all of his Shankareka, Padmareka and everything, right? So in his hand that Vajra Rekha will be there. That is why it is said Vajrapanina. Like how Vamana Bhagavan was born to Aditi, here Rama is born to Kausalya Mata. And later in Pushya Nakshatram, Bharatalvar, who is the avataram of Bhagavan's Panchajanyam, is born to Kaikeyi. And in Ayilyam, twin babies Lakshmanalvar and Shatrughnalvar are born to Sumitra. And Dasharatha is extremely happy. It is said that he has Brahmanandam. As we already saw, the closest bliss to Brahmanandam is Putra Sparsham. And here the Putran is none other than Bhagavan himself. So what he is experiencing actually is Brahmanandam only. So he's very happy. He distributes gifts to Brahmanas, to everybody in the palace, and there is all pomp and celebration. And in the 11th day, when they bring the babies to Vashishtar for him to name, he looks at Ramachandra Prabhu and he realizes this is none other than the Paravasudevan who came to, it is said that he gave the name Rama to the Paravasudevan who came to protect Gajendra. When Gajendra calls, he calls for Adi Mulame. He calls for the highest, the Param. And because of that, Bhagavan comes running. That shows that Perumal is the Param, right? And to that Perumal, here Vashishtar gives the name, divine name, Rama. It is actually Tyagaraja Swami in one of his kritis, he says the name Rama actually comes from Namo Narayanaya, which is the main mantra for Vaishnavas. And if we take the Ra from that, Narayanaya will become Na Ayanaya, means the one with no path. Similarly, the main mantra for Shaivas is Namah Shivaya. And if we take the Ma out of it, Namaha Shivaya will become Na Shivaya, which means someone without auspiciousness or someone without Mangalam. So Ra and Ma are the main words, main syllables in these two names, right? And from those two names is coined the name Rama, which gives us the Taraka mantra. And while Tyagaraja Swami is relishing this, he actually tells about Ma first and Ra later, which tells us that he is actually the Amshram of Valmiki Bhagavan. So as Bhadracharya Ramadasar also says, O Rama, Ni Nama Memi Ruchira. He gives that beautiful, beautiful name Rama, this beautiful, beautiful baby. Later he names Bharatalvar Bharatan, Lakshman Lakshmana Lakshmano it means he is very rich. The highest form of, and that is what Lakshmana gets, right? Child, Shatrughna, other baby. Actually, Ramachandra Prabhu, he took in his life. Sumitra Devi was bringing Shatrughna. He was the side character in Ramayana, right? Our Guru Maharaj would say, had it been Bharatayanam, then Shatrughna would have a very prominent part. Because Shatrughna actually does Kaingaryam for Bhagavan's disciple. Like Adiyarka Adiyara endru viriniduvom. So Adiyarka Adiyar is Shatrughna. So here, 4 beautiful babies are born, Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna. And they put them in cradles. And they immediately start crying. Then Vashishtar says, you put Rama and Lakshmana in the same cradle, and you put Bharata and Shatrughna in the same cradle. And when they put those babies in those cradles, they are again very happy. The pairs, they immediately form them. And they place the beautiful baby Rama in a cradle. Valmiki Bhagavan actually doesn't dwell too much on Ramachandra Prabhu's childhood. He immediately starts describing his youth, Sita Kalyanam and everything. But all the Mahans, the Bhaktas, the Bhabukas that came later, they relish Ramachandra Prabhu's childhood. And like that, Kulashekara Alvar, when he goes to Tirukannapuram, with the name itself, we should know that the deity there is none other than Krishna, Tirukannapuram. And the Perumal there is Shauri Raja Perumal. Shauri is the name for Krishna. He is the grandson of Shurasenar. Right? Shurasenar's son is Vasudeva. Vasudeva's son is Krishna. So he is Shura's grandson Shauri. Shauri is the name for Krishna. So when Kulashekar Alvar goes to Tirukannapuram, all the puja for the night was done, and they had placed baby Krishna in a cradle. So Kulashekar Alvar looks at that baby Krishna, and instead of getting Yashoda Bhava, he is getting Kausalya Bhava. And imagining that baby Krishna as baby Rama, he sings a beautiful talat. Manna pugal kosalaitan மணிவயிறு வாய்த்தவனே தென்னிலங்கை போல் மூடிகாள் சிந்து வித்தாய் செம்பொஞ்சேர் கண்ணினம் மாமதில் புடை சூழ் கண்ணபுரத்து கண்மணியே என்னுடைய இன்னமுதே ராகவனே தாலேலோ. Our Guru Maharaj sings, பிரேமிக வரதனே உறக்கத்திலும் உனை பிரிய சகியேன் கண்மணியே யோக நித்ரையில் ஆழ்ந்த முரளீதரன் உள்ளத்தில் வந்திடுவான் தாலேலோ. He says, I'm not able to be separated from you during the night. So while you are in your yoga nidra, you come reside in my heart. Now that beautiful baby has given us the opportunity to relish his avataram today. And let us pray to him that we get more and more opportunities to relish his gunas and his divine stories. And let us pray that that baby comes and resides in our heart and lets us relish him more and more. जानकी कांत स्मरणम जय जय राम राम. सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. आंजनेय स्वामी की जय. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना भा प्रकृतिस्वभावात् करोमि यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि.
Akila, incredible. You were completely absorbed in your pravachanam, and we're awed by your scholarship. My prayer to Bhagwan is to bless you with Medha Shakti, so that you spread his word and glory all over the world. Yeah, you're incredible, brilliant. Thank you so much for such a divine pravachanam. And I think we are blessed to be part of this satsangam. And as you said, satsangam is again the grace of Bhagwan. Thank you so much, and thanks to the entire team that has put this together. And we want you to do more and more, go across the world and spread the glory of the Nama. Super. Thank you so much. We conclude the first day of the Pravachanam now, and then we again meet tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day of our Ramanavami celebration of Vishnu Pasaya consciousness. But every evening we have got these Pravachanams, 9 amazing Pravachanams, and the finale will be Navami the Bhakti through the eyes of Sadguru Sri Tyagaraja Swami by Vatsalya. Tulsidharan, she is again very scholarly, like all of them, like Akhila and Shri, Madhushri, all of them. I mean, each one is a gem. They're so young, and look at the kind of knowledge they have. So inspiring. Samasta lokaha sukhino bhavantu. Jai Shri Ram.